and welcome, race fans. We are with Paint the Yellow and their All-Star race. In the booth tonight, we actually have Michael Keaton and Steven Azeni, but I'll tell you what, we have a bunch of names here with, like, Vern Lavelle, who won last time, I believe. Donald Hagen and Tommy Stalkus always making a bunch of noise, and we have a list of sponsors we'll go through eventually, but I'm going to move it up to the booth right now.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of PaintTheYellow.com. Here with Steven. Steven, I tell you, here at Talladega, it's going to be exciting with these trucks.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting to watch you guys tonight. I haven't watched lots of videos recently, but hopefully we're going to get a good show tonight.
Alright, what's exciting about this is, Steven, is you got two races here. One heat race, if you will, 12 laps, and then the field will be inverted, so the winner will go to the tail end of the longest line for the second heat, and you'll see the guy who finished last in the first heat start on that pole for the second heat. So it's going to be pretty fun to watch that play out.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of different races up front. Hopefully we'll see a bunch of guys that we we don't normally see here. And looks like Tommy Stalkus is the pole right now. And,
oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hello, race fans, and welcome back to PaintTheYellow.com's All-Star race here at Talladega. Steven's in the booth with me. Steven, qualifying just concluded. 21 out of 22 drivers taking a lap here at Talladega. Take us through the first row.
Alright, leading off the field tonight will be Tommy Stalkus with a time of 50.919, and starting alongside of him, Donald Hagen with a 50.925.
And starting in that second row in the 54 Chevrolet, Gary Horsley, and outside him, David Pollock, also with a 50.9.
Starting fifth, Richard Brost, and sixth, Gary Lowe.
Starting eighth today at Talladega in the 01 truck, Jack Honeycutt. Outside him in the ninth position in the 47 Chevrolet, Paul Covington.
You forgot about our friend Doug Moore in the seventh spot, so I'll include him, but you said Paul in ninth, and Vern Lavelle starting 10th.
Starting 11th, Chuck Harris in the 04. Outside him in the 31 machine tonight, Richard Bolmer.
Starting 13th, Ed Peoples, and 14th, the first guy out of the 50.9 range is Kevin Savory.
And 15th, Kyle Lewis. Outside him in the 75 Chevrolet, Fred Moxnett.
Starting 17th, Jeff Figlin. Starting alongside of him, Kyle Devitt.
And bringing up 19th position in the 15 car, Paul Doucette. Outside him, Mark Robertson.
Starting 21st, the last guy to take time tonight, Ian Erickson, and starting alongside of him, Matt R. Smith, as the car starts to roll off the grid.
As I mentioned, 22 drivers here tonight rolling off for this 12-lap shootout, if you will, A-main style race. It's going to be exciting, and I understand, Stephen, these guys under a little bit of a fuel strategy run here. These guys have to pit.
Yeah, pit stops will definitely be interesting here. I know that'll definitely shake up the field. I believe there are no cautions in this heat race, so that's definitely going to be a factor as well. You can see these guys practice some green flag pit stops, so hopefully we can get them all clean. And I'd also like to point out we got 20 guys within 0.2 of a second here, so a really close field, so that should lead to a lot of great racing here.
Yeah, and also in the second heat, also reduced fuel, no cautions as well. The flag man's off for the first 2 races, but he will be coming back down to the stand, if you will, with the 50-lap shootout, the feature, as some may call it. And alongside again tonight with me is Stephen. And Stephen, welcome to the booth. Pace car in turn 3 right now. These trucks ready and anxious to get it going here. Like I said, the first and second place guys as well, all the way through the back of the field, they'll do an invert. And so the guy who wins this first heat will start heat number 2 in the very last position, currently showing 22nd position. So pace car coming out of 4, Stephen, getting ready to go green.
Yep, it's a long way until we get the green flag here. I know we got to go through a whole tri-oval, which is a pretty long way. I know some guys might get antsy back here, so you might see a stack up or 2. I don't know. These guys are pretty good at this kind of racing, so I'm sure we won't see that. But the pace car is going to pull off right now, as we're going to wait for Tom to lead us off here.
Yeah, Tom Moustakis leading the charge, coming down the tri-oval. He's going to have a host of trucks trying to get around him in the Prader-Willi Syndrome charity race event truck. Outside him is Donald Hagen, green flag at Talladega Super Speedway.
Get out front, and Donald's going to file in behind him. Looks like everyone's trying to get single file early on. I know we got a couple guys still side by side in the back, but that's for about 7th or 8th place right there. So everyone's trying to get single file, get in line here. I know they said they got to make that pit stop. So everyone's going to try to get to the bottom here and stay in line till then.
It looks like everyone, like you said, is just getting set up with their dancing partner, if you will, here at Talladega. That's so crucial for this track here, where you've got to have a partner now. If you don't bring anyone to the dance, you're going to go home empty-handed. And as you see some of these guys getting teamed up, and the only thing that I can think of that's going to cause some wrinkles in this race is going to be green flag pit stop conditions, and these guys will have to do it around 5th, 6th, or 7th lap of this race. There's 12 laps in this first heat, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see them in between those 3 laps, of course. I highly doubt that you can't go much farther than 7 on this fuel window. I know these guys do this all the time. This is their AllStar race, so these guys all have experience here, and I'm sure we'll see some really good pit stop entries, some good pit stops, and some great racing until the end here.
Pretty much single file down the backstretch. Still the race leader, Tom Moustakis. He led the charge, took the green for the first time, and he's coming around out of turn 4 to complete lap number 4 here. Trouble, Stephen.
Bern Lavelle got sideways down the apron there in 3 and 4, and looks like he made a nice save there. And yeah, it was racing towards the back. It looks like there's a big stack up on the bottom, and yeah, he's gonna lose a bunch of spots here.
Bern Lavelle was actually in the number 9 spot, as you mentioned, getting into a little bit of trouble in that Home Depot Chevrolet, all the way back to 12th now, or 20th, excuse me. So he's got some ground to make up.
Yeah, but the good thing about these pit stops is they'll really bring the field back together. All he has to do is get a good pit entry, get off good, and he'll be fine.
And also good news for Bern Lavelle is he did not lose the draft, so he's still with that lead track path, although he's fell from 9th all the way to 20th in a matter of 3 laps, but still race leader out front here at the All-Star race, Tom Moustakis.
Yeah, a couple guys oh, here comes a couple guys pulling off the pit road now, so it's a little early, but I believe that Gary Horsley and Richard Brose heading in pit road.
Also Paul Covington, Jeff Filgland, Kyle Devitt, and Erickson. There's a bunch of guys taking an early green pit stop here, so it must be a strategy here, Stephen, these guys are trying to pull off.
Yeah, a bunch of these guys trying to get in pit road early. Looks like a lot of them came down, which I wouldn't expect to see it the first time, but I I guess the earlier you get to pit road, the better, and you can get out going full speed, and you'll have a better chance to pass these guys that are going to pit later. I know you want to pit with a partner, and a lot of people pick their partners there, so see how that goes coming out of here.
Looking at the battle for the lead, possibly a lead swap, as a matter of fact, in one last time by. Now they're pitting. The race leaders are pitting. Tom Moustakis and his teammate Donald Hagen down pit road. Donald a little shaky, but gets it under control. And now the Caterpillar Chevrolet of Richard Ballmer leading this 12-lap shootout. Heat race number 1.
Yeah, a bunch of other guys on pit road is too. David Pollock, Doug Moore, Gary Lowe, Bern Lavelle, Ed Peoples, Paul Doucette. So a lot of guys down pit road. Looks like Jack Honeycutt actually missed pit road there, if I saw that correctly, and he's all on his own now, but just not very good for him.
It looks like, too, Stephen, these guys don't have to make tire stops or anything like that. It's just probably a splash and go, just enough fuel to make it to the end here and out and away.
Yeah, but looks like they did that. Looks like Hagen and Moustakis had a really good pit stop, and they beat out the pack behind them by a ton. Now we're going to see where the other pack comes back in and see if they can pass some of these guys that are going to be exiting pit road. And the leaders are in pit road.
Yep, leaders coming down pit road right now. Richard Ballmer led the lap last time by. He's your race leader currently on the track, but as they cycle through, Tom Moustakis on the backstretch in 5th place, and Donald Hagen right there in 6th. They're running nose to tail, drafting solid with each other. Coming out of 4 just in a second. We'll see if that shakes up the field.
Yeah, it's like Fred Moss and Jack Honeycutt also came down there, and that's going to conclude your pit stops for this race. So now it's just going to be between these guys and see who can come out up front in this part of the race. And these guys exit pit road. Here comes Hagen and Moustakis down in the start-finish line.
Keep an eye on that 5th and 6th place car. They're coming down into 1. They're going to pass your 3rd place currently car running right now, which is Fred Mossonet. He's down low, no drafting partner, but the 2 ahead are for the number 1 and 2 spots, and it looks like they're going to get bound with ease, and now they're moving along down the backstretch. Moustakis!
Yeah, those guys had a really good pit entry, and they gained a lot of time there. I believe they're going to have over a second, maybe 2-second lead by the time we get everyone cycled around and up to speed here.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things here that's so crucial with this heat race is that the strategy, getting down pit road, you got to really maintain your speed. You got to get just enough fuel in that tank to where it doesn't take the crew long to get it in there, and you're out and away. And you can't come up on the track until you exit or get into turn 2. So excellent stop for Moustakis and Donald Hagen. There's Donald Hagen being shown the race leader here on lap 7, Steve.
Yeah, it's an excellent point you made about where you come off onto the track, where usually in official series, I know most of us will just enter in turn 1 if there's no one coming, but you actually have to wait till turn 2 with this series, and that really slows down. But now the 2 leaders, Hagen and Moustakis, have a 2-second lead as they're battling behind them for 3rd, so it looks like they're going to be getting away and taking this one home.
And that's Gary Horsley in the number 6 position, now being shown in the number 4th position with Paul Covington working with him. And again, if you're just joining us, this is heat race number 1 of 2, and we've just completed lap 8 here. So 4 or 5 laps to go, and this one will be in the books.
Yep, it looks like they're swapping up there, and the leaders are swapping, everyone behind them swapping. And you mentioned how you have to have a dancing partner, and the trucks really heat up. I mean, the engines really heat up, so you have to swap when your temps get about 270. And after you have that happen, then you have to swap, and that's going to cost you some time.
Absolutely. Having a dancing partner here at Talladega and the Daytona track here with iRacing, you cannot come without one. If you don't have one, you might as well, start and park it, because the draft is so important here, and the 2-car tandems or the 2-truck tandems as well are so vital. And I don't know, Stephen, if these 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place guys could catch up to the number 1 and 2 spot of Hagen and Moustakis, but they're sure going to try.
Yeah, the gap's been holding steady for about the last 3 laps, but the way these guys are racing for 3rd right now, we see a tandem on the high side right there trying to work that line, and we have all the guys in line on the inside. If they really wanted to catch them, they'd be getting in line, running the key line. It doesn't look like that's happening. It looks like they're just racing for 3rd right now.
Just checking the lap time last time by, the number 16 truck who holds the 3rd position being pushed by Richard Ballmer, who led a couple laps earlier before pit stop strategies. But Kevin Savory with a 48.183 to your leader, Tom Moustakis, 4.332 and 4.50 to Hagan. So a little faster lap times for that third and fourth spot.
Yeah, the gap was about 2 seconds last time by as they crossed the line. Here it's going to be about 1.5 seconds. We saw the front two swap, so they closed the gap, and now they're going to swap here. Savory and Volmer will, and it's like the inside line's going to freight train them, and the gap will probably grow again.
3 wide in turn 2, coming off turn 2, back here in the 6th position with Gary Horsley. Keep the cameras back here. This is where the race is at, guys. The action starts from 3rd all the way back to 10th position.
Yeah, these guys are racing really hard here. We're down to crunch time. We got to come to 2 to go this time by. They know they're not going to catch the front 2. So these guys are going to battle out for 3rd. And we saw the 14 almost take it 3 wide down the back. That was close.
Yep, this time by Donald Hagan in the number 23 Chevrolet is going to take the 2 to go signal here. Signaling next time by will be the white flag at Talladega. And the 3rd place guy of Jeff Figlin is being pushed by Richard Brose in the 4th spot.
Yeah, they're 3 wide back here now for about the 8th or 9th spot. Now they're 2 wide again. These guys have been racing really hard back here, and they've actually almost caught the front 2. They just swap in turn 1 and 2. I know. Let's see if Tom. Let's see who's back here. Donald, let's see if he'll make a move on Tom here for the win. I'm not sure, but it's still battle for 3rd going on.
Battle for 3rd, battle for 5th, battle for 8th. The battle is all the way back to 10th position from 3rd to 10th. As your leader, Donald Hagan. And Tom Moustakis, who's actually been shown in the number 1 position, takes the white flag here at Talladega.
Oh, and we got trouble. Someone's on the apron. He's spinning. Yep, and that battle for 3rd, they're about 4 wide heading into turn 1, and that caused a lot of trouble.
No caution, no caution. Jeff Figlin down below the racing surface on the backstretch, spun that truck around. He might start on your pole in the 2nd heat here, Steven.
Yeah, like you said, the guys in the back start first, but we still got a battle to the line coming here. Hagan in 2nd, Moustakis in the lead. Hagan's going to make a move down low. He's there on Moustakis. And let's see who's going to get it coming to the line here. It looks like Hagan's going to get it. So Donald Hagan's going to be the winner of your first heat race. And he's going to start in the rear next race.
He didn't get it by much, I'll tell you that. 0.028 of a second behind Donald Hagan as he wins your first heat race number 1 here at Talladega.
Yeah, an exciting race there, especially in the back. I know if those 2 front guys were stuck with that pack, that definitely would have been exciting. But it's a good job by Donald there to time his move right. We saw him come low in the tri-oval, and that's what you got to do here. If you got to run, you got to take it about the tri-oval, and he made it work and took the win by about 0.03 of a second over Tom Moustakis.
Just to give you a rundown of the top 5, Donald Hagan, Tom Moustakis, David Pollock, Paul Covington, Gary Horsley, and your 22nd place finisher of today's event, heat race number 1, Ian Erickson, finishing 22nd. He should be your pole sitter for heat race number 2. And when we return in just a few moments, we'll have your heat race number 2 hot and ready for you, just like Little Caesars Pizza. When we get back, this is ETV. You're watching ETV on etv-eplay.net. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
All right, we're back, race fans, and an exciting heat race number 1. Winner goes to Donald Hagen. He edged out Tom Moustakis with a last-ditch effort coming into the tri-oval. Looked like Tom was going to run him down a little bit, probably just to, hey, Donald, I'm here, buddy, and I know what's going on. And just probably a friendly little love tap there by Tom. But, in fact, we've got Tom Moustakis in the booth with us here, Stephen. I'll go ahead and get with Tom. Tom, tell us about the run with Donald Hagen there in the first opening couple of laps. You and him nose to tail pretty much till the end there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we broke away at the beginning from the pack. We had a great pit stop. I had a 1:12.8 and Donald had a 1:12.9, and those are excellent pit times. So we had a little bit of a cushion, and I had about a 2-second lead over the rest of the pack pretty much the whole race, and it came down to just the two of us at the end there. It was a good run for us.
It looked at one point as if you were going to actually edge Donald back out at the line, and talk to us about that. Talk to us about the run that Hagen had on the inside, and then your charge back on the high side coming to the finish there for the heat race number 1.
Well, I was in, we switched with 2 to go, and it put me to the lead, and the lead is really the last place you want to be coming off of turn 4 at Talladega these days. So I can tell you from the time I entered turn 3 on the last lap, I wasn't even looking ahead. I was looking in the mirror and driving off of his front bumper in my mirror, and I just kind of left the bottom open a little bit too late going into the tri-oval, and he got a good run on me, and I tried to get a little bit of a draft back off of him, friendly door, but his truck was ahead of mine, and I couldn't get it back by the time we got to the start-finish line.
Well, Tom, looks like you go into heat race number 2 all the way in the back with Donald Hagen. So any kind of strategy already starting to play out in the minds going into the heat race number 2?
Strategies always play as we go when we're starting in the back, especially in the second heat. Second heat's usually the craziest.
Avoid the wreck.
So yeah, the strategy's going to be avoid the calamity, and we can do that by maybe pitting early, or if everything gets spread out, we can start making some spots up and stay out, and then once we get closer to the front, then we'll go in and pit. But you never know; it's always changing. So we always gotta play it by ear.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, folks. Tom Moustakas finishing second in the heat race number 1. Awesome job to Tom. And standing by with your heat race number 1 winner, Donald Hagen, is Stephen E.
Well, it's Esney, so you know, and I'm here with Donald. First off, congrats on your win, and tell us about that last lap. You came in second. What was your strategy going there when you took the white flag?
I knew he was going to try to protect the high side because most of the time you're going to pass high on the last lap. And I knew going into 3 he was going to do that, so I just, right off of 4, I realized that he was really close to the wall, so I just went down there real quick because he wasn't quick enough to get down there, and just got to the lead and I was waiting for the door banged. So just a fun last lap win.
Yeah, it looked like you guys definitely had the dominant trucks there, and to tell us about how you guys got so far ahead early on with the pit strategy, and how you guys beat everyone else on pit road.
Practice and running together a lot.
Yeah, I know. I've seen you guys work together a bunch, and you guys tend to do it well. And now you're gonna start last in the second race. Now, do you think you guys can go to the front first, or you're just gonna ride in the back and wait for pit stops? I mean, what's your plan going in here?
Oh, we're going to the front. It's AllStar race. It's a fun race for us. We're going to the front.
Alright, well, good luck to you, and hope you have another good race.
Thanks.
There you have it, folks. From the words of Donald Hagen, oh, buddy, we're going to the front. So, John might want to have those cameras tuned in and turned on Donald Hagen and Tom Moustakas as they try to work their trucks from the very last positions to the front here with a 12-lap second heat race.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun to watch that race. I know we're going to get started here in a little while, so I think about 5 minutes we're going to get started.
Yeah, and just to mention, tonight's race being sponsored by AJ's Masonry, iRacerStuff.com, which is one heck of a good website that these guys at Paint the Yellow put together. And Richie B's Pizza. Check them out. Best pizza in town. And Omega Construction. Hey, you need any construction done? Omega's the construction company to get it done with. So, when we return, heat race number 2 with the PaintTheYellow.com's special All-Star race, tonight's event. When we return, heat race number 2, Stephen. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
Welcome back, race fans, and if you're just joining us, we're here live with Paint the Yellow and their All-Star race tonight. We're about to start heat race number 2 in about a minute and a half, and the official qualifying grid's not up yet, but I believe we're inverting the field from last time, so Ian Erickson will start on the pole.
Yeah, Ian Erickson, and we mentioned your race winner from heat race number 1 going to have to do it from the back. And Tom Moustakis, who finished second, is also going to have to do it from the back with Donald Hagen, who won the first heat race. And they said that they're coming to the front. This is the All-Star race. This is what it's all about, Stephen. You heard them in the interview. They said they're going to make a hard charge for the front.
Yeah, they seem excited to get this one going, and they're definitely going to be coming to the front here. Hopefully they'll won't cause any trouble when they're coming to the front. That wouldn't be good. I know all these guys want to finish this thing and just get into the main race, so it's their last chance to get to the front, and should be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Heat race number 2 starting to shake up here, and this is an inverted start here, and the next is the big one, the 50-lap main race, if you will, Stephen. And man, I tell you, it's going to be exciting to watch this race.
Yep, just to recap from the first heat race, there is no cautions in these heat races. They do have to pit for fuel. We saw the pit stops last race between lap 3 and 5, so I'm sure we can expect to see that again this time. And we're about to get started in about 2 minutes here as the drivers are about to start lining up on the grid.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steven, I believe I'm going to be stealing the microphone from Michael Keaton because Batman Keaton would rather go watch a football game.
I can't believe that. I mean,
well, let me defend myself here. I'm a hardcore Alabama fan, and if your favorite team is #1 in the country and they're live on primetime ESPN TV and a coworker asks you to go on a, well, not really a date, but just come over and watch the game with them, you can't turn them down. So, but man, I tell you, I enjoyed the first heat race. I was expected to do the second race here, but time just wouldn't prevent. And but Dakota, I know you'll do a fine job. And Stephen, nice working with you. Can't wait to do it again, guys.
yeah, I'll look forward to the next time. But Dakota, nice to welcome you up to the booth here tonight. I know I took your spot last night in the ATV in the Friday Night Showdown race, but we're here live tonight, and I'm gonna start us off by running through our first part of our grid order, the front row. Ian Erickson starting off up front for finishing last in the last race, and Paul Doucette starting second.
Ed Peoples in the number 22. Usually saw him in the number 24, but number 22 tonight, starting third, and Fred Massanet in the outside of him.
Yep, Jeff Figlin starting 5th. We saw him about wreck it off turn 2 on the last race, and Chuck Harris starting 6th.
Jack Honeycutt starting 7th. On the outside of him, Mark Robertson.
Bern Lavelle starting 9th, and Gary Lowe was going to start 10th.
Doug Moore in a 74 starting 11th. On the outside of him, Kevin Savory.
Starting 13th, Richard Bielmer, and starting 14th, Kyle Lewis.
Starting 15th, the number 1, Richard Bros, and on the outside of him, Kyle DeVitt. And I just want to take a second to recognize Richard Bro. Richie B is one of the sponsors tonight. I believe he is a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a pizza place, so anyone looking for good pizza, check out Richie B's. It definitely hit the spot when you're looking to fill those munchies. And starting 17th, Gary Horsley, and starting 18th, Paul Covington.
Starting 19th, the 17th of David Pollock, and starting on the outside of him, Tom Mistakis.
Starting 21st, Donald Hagen. For some reason, someone's behind those guys. I knew it was Invert Star, but Chris Crosby's going to start off shotgun on the field 22nd tonight, so not sure how that worked out, but there's your rundown.
What will happen is, if it's a car that is a lap down, they will be placed behind the last placing lead lap car. And if a car chooses not to start the heat, which is optional, you don't have to do any of the heats to show up for the main, you will rear the field though if you don't do one of them.
Yep, well, Chris had one of those things happen. I thought we saw him racing there in the second heat. I'm not sure, but anyway, he's going to start last. But Ian Erickson's going to lead us down here. It's the pace car rolling through turns 3 and 4. Coming out of turn 4 now. It's like we said in the first race, it's a long way to the green flag, so we have to wait on that a while.
I'll tell you what, Stephen and Zenny, it is very hard to get into this race. To get in this race, you had to finish in the top 10 in points in one of the last, I believe, 3 or 4 seasons, which is month-long seasons, or you had to win at least a heat race or a feature race. But as we get set to take the green flag as they work the tri-oval, ooh, Ian Erickson getting a good jump, but that's not a good idea because now he's going to be left all alone with little help, and if anybody gets hooked up in time, they might actually be able to just go right around him.
Yeah, those front 2 got a little bit of a lead there, and everyone's going to try to get single file again like we saw last race. I know, keep an eye on those guys in the back. They said they were coming to the front, and yep, big lead for the front 2 right now, and I don't think that'll be good. It's really, that didn't allow anyone to hook up earlier, but once these guys get hooked up towards the back, they're going to be moving.
And right now the excitement level at the beginning of the race is probably not really high, but at the end of the race, Paint the Yellow has always provided some of the closest finishes. We do have trouble on the racetrack, and see who that was right there.
That was Chuck Harris. He slammed the inside wall, and I had to go back and look what happened there, but he looks like he's going to be done for this race, so looks like that's going to put him 22nd, and heavy damage for that car.
Very unfortunate for him because he's usually decently fast and towards the front.
Yeah, I saw off turn 2, the partner he was working with there, the 12 car, Jeff Figlin, tried going to the apron to pass somebody, and looks like he came up the track a little bit, hooked Chuck's bumper, and sent him down the inside wall. So unfortunate for Chuck, but let's get back in front here.
Tell you what, Ian Erickson with that big jump is actually not doing too bad. I believe he's got Ed Peoples at the bumper pushing him all the way around. He is still the leader 2 laps into this race. But Paul Doucette actually closing in on his bumper with, I believe that's Jeff Figlin in the number 12 pushing him. So as we have, no, they thought they were going to move the outside, but not quite.
And there they go. Gotten a big enough run yet, but the rest of the pack's closing up now, so if they're going to make a move, they better do it soon.
I'll tell you what, the outside lane is the place to be, especially when they get in a single file line, because you're going to see the front 2 can't push very long without getting hot, so they're going to have to either check up or kind of make a break. So everybody's going to check up on the inside line either way here, because they're going to have nowhere to go, and the outside lane is just going to take up so much time, it's going to be unreal.
Yeah, the outside lane is coming right now. It's Fred Moss in it, and the 31 truck behind him, I believe that's Buellmer. They're coming pretty strong right now. They just came about, they started back about 13th and around there, and they're coming to the front now. It's like Fred's going to get to the outside of Ed Peoples here and maybe get to Ian Erickson by the time they exit turn 4.
Another couple of guys who started in the back, Tommy Stockus and Donald Hagen, they passed, they were 16th last time they crossed the line. I've seen them making up all kinds of spots so far as we have people coming down for the first pit stop of the night. I believe somebody might have just hit the wall, I'm not sure. But Tommy Stockus and Donald Hagen, 16th last time they crossed the line. They are still racing there next to Bern Lavelle. As they cross the line, we'll see how far they moved up, which I believe is 6th for Tommy Stockus and 8th for Donald Hagen. So those guys up the board with a very short amount of laps.
Yep, you mentioned some guys coming down pit road. Ed Peoples, Paul Doucette, our leader Ian Erickson's in, Jeff Figlin, Mark Robertson. Chuck Harris is, okay, he's out there on the track still, and Kyle Devitt, Kyle Lewis, those look like the guys there ran. I just noticed some damage on Kyle Lewis's truck. Not sure what happened back there.
And I think I found it. Doug Moore, I was wondering why he was so far back. He's got a really fast truck tonight. Looks like he had to check up for somebody in the 18, and Kyle Lewis just ran in the back of him and ran back in and ran into the back of him again, and then got him one more time. So the 74 in trouble on lap 3 when he was in about 11th position. So not good for the 74 or Kyle.
Yeah, it looks like we're hearing the 14 truck had some trouble exiting pit road. We're going to take a look at what happened there, but Kyle Devitt definitely, let's see what happened there. And looks like he got turned by the 21 truck when he was exiting pit road by Mark Robertson. So unfortunate for him, and he's going to be losing the draft here.
You gotta wonder if any rivalries take place that we don't know about.
Yeah, we're not used to covering the series, and we got a battle for the lead. Chris Crosby going back, and here comes the 31 to 75. We've seen them working together well all race. They're going to go to the front, and it looks like now they're going to pull off the kind of pit road. And Donald Hagen coming to the front now. Tom Moustakis.
And where did they start?
I believe they started 21st and 22nd, and they're going to be first and second that time by, as they're separated right now. I know Richard Brose is pushing Tom. And Donald's getting a push from somebody else. That would be Kevin Savory. And, 3 wide for the lead now.
Yeah, 3 wide is what they've been. Donald Hagen was on the inside there all by himself hanging in there. And that's what's difficult about this track is 3 wide does not work. There's the arrow, kind of weird thing with the arrow, where if you get 3 wide, the outside and the bottom lane slow down, so you can almost go to the middle by yourself and make up time. That's how Donald Hagen was able to stick with them, as they're almost pushing the 3 cars together there. That was really close, and that can cause a problem as multiple cars coming down the pit road.
Yeah, I see 2 coming down. Jack Honeycutt, Chris Crosby, they're both coming down. And, Jack has some trouble getting on pit road. He slides it, and he's going to spin again. That's unfortunate. We saw him do the same thing last time entering pit road in the first heat race.
That really is unfortunate. I know Jack. He was looking forward to this race, these races. So I hope he can make a comeback in the feature race because he's really pretty decent. But Jack is also a sponsor for tonight's event with AJ's Masonry, which is a forging company, I do believe. So unfortunate for a sponsor of the race to actually be taking it home.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. It looks like Dad just got on the brakes too hard there. Now he's going to overshoot his pit stall, but I know those leaders should be coming in soon. I don't think we've seen any of them pit yet, and we're going to see if they come in here. Maybe this time by? Hey, yep, here they come. Donald Hagen and Tom Moustakis down pit road.
2 guys I'm not sure that we've seen pit, but David Pollock and seeing who that is, Bern Lavelle working together. Remember, Bern was actually spun, or I believe he was almost spun in the first heat early on. He was able to rally back a little bit and started 9th on the grid, currently running in the 9th position after switching there, I do believe.
Yeah, that's the good thing about these heat races. They're really almost like a warm-up for these guys. They can just get sorted out, get the feel for the track, the truck, and their setups. And really, they got nothing to lose here in the first 2 heats other than starting position. I'm not exactly sure how the starting position works for the 50-lap race. I'm sure you can fill us all in on that.
Okay, so the first race, how they finished was the field was inverted, so they'd start backwards in the second heat, and then that's giving the guys who won a challenge, or maybe they got lucky and they might finish in the back in the second heat. Who knows? But it gives the guys a challenge and something to go for. And but in the main race, how this race ends, this heat number 2, how it ends is how the main race will start, or the feature race. So these guys hoping to do well now, so they get a good starting position for the main feature race, which actually will also have cautions.
All right, and I know I just noticed that Kevin Savory is out there by himself for a lap, and looks like he's in pit road now. That's going to cost him some time. You lose I think it's about 3 seconds a lap when you're not in the draft compared to by yourself, which that's really a big difference here. Even though it's such a big track, that's a lot of time.
That is a insane amount of time, especially here. I've been out here all alone, and I think I just basically, most of the time, just pull it off the track like a lot of guys do. There's no point riding around by yourself, especially when there's always next race. These guys race, I believe, 2 times a week now, and they take your best race of the week in a regular series, and they have a fun series Friday night where they just kind of throw something random together. They also have a traveling truck series, which goes to several places, several tracks in the trucks, which is an open series, so you can do open setups. It's really fun. I've actually been over there and raced a few times, and they're not easy to beat, especially for super speedway drivers. They put up a big challenge with Tom Moustakis actually leading the way. I believe he won the championship 2 times in a row. I'm not actually sure who actually won. I believe they were tied going into last week. See if I can't get that stack. Don't go.
Yeah, well, I know you're talking about Tom Moustakis leading the way. Well, I'd just like to point out that he's the new leader of this race. Him and Donald nailed their pit stop once again, and they pulled up to about a 2.6-second lead again. So these guys really have this thing figured out, as they're well on their way to a 2nd straight victory.
Without a doubt. They always are. They always are.
Yeah, and I've seen Tom in the iRacing Official C6 series. He's up there second in points, so I see what you mean about him. And he got this truck figured out pretty well, you know, on two speedways, super speedways, and he definitely has it figured out here tonight. As we're going to go back in the field and see we have a battle going on for third again. We got 4 trucks there in the line, and they're battling side by side now. That would be the David Pollock, Bern Lavelle, Gary Horsley, Paul Covington. And here comes another couple trucks down there, and someone's actually making a pit stop. That's Chuck Harris. He's slapped down, but nice battle for third going on once again.
And to be correct here, Tom Moustakis did win the Open Series at Traveling Truck Series, so he is a champion. I believe he won it last season. I'm not actually sure. I can't quite remember correctly who won it. Now I actually have to talk to them and see who did that. But Tom Moustakis, I believe, has also won an All-Star race. So Tom is, you know, full of victories. He qualified on the pole when they qualified last heat, starting in the rear after he won the race, or actually finished second. So I mean, he is on a roll.
Yeah, he's definitely been fast and showing that speed once again here tonight. And now we got the battles. They're side by side for third place right now. David Pollock, Gary Horsley, they've been going at it side by side for about 3 laps now. And I'm not sure if those guys behind them are going to get hot soon. It looks like Burns Lavelle's backing off on the inside line. Let's see if the outside line can get clear.
What's really unfortunate is Doug Moore, all the way back in 21st position, 45 seconds out of lead by himself. He is losing a lot of time to those leaders, as they may lap him before this thing's over. Actually, they probably will, trying to see where they're at in comparison to him, as I believe he is, yeah, not very far out there. So Doug Moore in trouble earlier, and he is about to go a lap down, which doesn't mean a thing, because right now he'll start in the rear of the field anyway. But Doug Moore in big trouble after that incident earlier.
Yeah, it's really going to... the good thing about the main race is 50 laps. That's a ton of time to get to the front here. And, yeah, we're on the last lap here. So we're going to see if we have another move for the front. It looks like Tom Moustakis going to take a low side on Hagan this time. Here we go. It's going to be a drag race down to the line.
That was pretty funny, because Tom Moustakis looked like he was going to go to the outside lane. He faked it, and Donald Hagan moved up to block, and Tom moved down the bottom, and Tom's going to get it by inches at the line. Donald Hagan almost spinning him coming across the line there, but Tom Moustakis, I do believe, is your winner, as yes, he was by .018. That's 18 thousandths of a second. That is not much.
Well, they decided to make it more of a set finish for us this time. They closed the gap by about, 10 thousandths of a second this time. Doug Moore was able to stay on the lead lap there, but anyway, he's going to start in the back. And these guys really dominating so far tonight. Let's see if they changes in the 50-lap main race or not, but definitely a great performance by the two tonight.
I'll tell you what, I believe the last few times that we've actually been here with Paint the Yellow, like I said, some of the closest finishes we've ever seen. These guys are fast, and they're really smart about how they race. Tom Moustakis actually faked that. That was pretty cool to watch, something I have not seen in a while. Donald Hagan fell for the trap, and he also fell in a little bit of trouble because he's going to finish second.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have to rewatch that finish there, but yeah, I'm watching it. Tom faked high, and then Donald moved up a little bit, and that left the whole bottom all wide open for Tom to take advantage there. And looked like he made his move a little too early, but he got the job done.
Yeah, and that was a brilliant move by Tom. And I know that I believe Tom will be in here momentarily. We'll have also Donald, maybe we can get David to come in this time. Or actually, David did not finish third. Gary Horsley, I know we get Gary in here, so we'll be able to speak to our top 3. But I believe we're going to step away and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
Alright, and welcome back, race fans. The All-Star race with Paint the Yellow. I believe Tom Moustakis is going to be joining us momentarily. Actually, there he is. Tom Moustakis, how you doing, bud?
Quite good. How about you?
I'm doing just fine now. You finished second in the first heat race, but now you finished first in the race that it counts in the second race, and now you get to start on the front row. I mean, you worked your way from the back also. That's very impressive to start in the back and finish up front. How did you do it?
Great teammates. I had Chris Crosby in front of me for most of the time. He started in the back. He missed the first heat, so he started in the back with me and Donald, and we got right up to the. We just punched our way up through there and had another killer pit stop, even better than the first heat, and got us out to another cushion lead, and we were able to battle it out.
And Tom, man, I know in the 50 lapper we're going to have cautions on. Do you predict a few cautions?
Yeah, I expect there to be some cautions. People are not worried about points tonight, so they're gonna just worried about the cash. So I'm sure they'll be going a little bit all out and taking a few more chances than they usually would.
And Tom, I know you won the Traveling Truck Series Championship. I don't know that you won. Did you win it last season too?
I won the first and the third Traveling Series. The last one was the third. Mr. Horsley won the second one.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, man, and how interesting it is to race over there. I know it's exciting. I've been over there a few times, and tell us about the competition as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been we go around to a bunch of different tracks. Paint the Yellow was kind of founded around a clan, I guess I say, of super speedway guys, and we just wanted to kind of branch out and see some other tracks other than Dega or Daytona. So we just we go around a bunch of tracks, short tracks, and a mile and a half. We usually keep super speedway on the schedule. We had a road course. I believe for the next season we're gonna kind of loosely follow iRacing schedule, so hopefully we'll get a couple more people in the races and get participation up a little bit. Competition's been great last couple seasons. Gary Horsley, who I believe is in the booth here with us. He's always up front, and there's some other guys who always show a good hand. So it's pretty fun.
And like I said earlier, guys, they may be super speedway racers at heart, but they are not slow as any other track. Thank you, Tom, and we look forward to seeing you in the feature race.
Yeah, thanks for broadcasting, guys.
No problem. I'm going to pass the mic down to Steven Azeni, who is standing by with your second place finisher, Donald Hagen.
Last time we saw you, you were in victory lane. This time you're second. You guys did start in the back, and you said you were coming to the front. Tell us about that charge to the front there in the early laps.
We were just having fun going from the back. Just had to get our teammate Chris up there because he missed the first race, so we were taking turns pushing and whatnot, just having some fun. And then once we pit it, you know, it would be me and Tom again, and just having a little fun at the end, see who would win, a little door banging.
Yeah, and this time around at the last lap, you were in front coming to the white flag, and you ended up behind. Tell us about the different roles you have coming to the white flag, whether you're the leader or pusher, and which role do you prefer?
I'd prefer pushing, but sometimes I like leading every once in a while. With Tom, because he's so experienced at it, he knows almost my every move now. It's real hard to be out in front with someone like that. He totally mind boggled me. He went to go high, and I went high. I just moved my wheel too high, and he cut back down low, and it is what it is. It just happens.
Alright, well, we heard what Tom had to say about this 50-lap feature, and what are you looking to in this race, and how many cautions do you predict?
Oh, about 3 to 4, and I think it'll be a fun race. You'll see a lot of 3 wides because of the caution. It's not going to get real spread out, and it'll be more entertaining than the heat races because you don't have to pit, and it's not going to get spread out, and it'll be fun.
Alright, well, thank you for your time. Congrats on your heat race finishes. Good luck to you in this main race, and now we're going to send it to Dakota Airman. He's caught up with our third place finisher, Gary Horsley.
We weren't able to catch up with David Pollock last time, but we do have our third place finisher this time with Gary Horsley. And Gary, you started 17th as the leader, so the guys who won actually started in the back as well. How did you get up to the front?
Well, we just kind of rode with the pack a little bit, and as the people pulled off pitting, me and Paul were kind of just pushing up toward the front. Had a really good pit stop, not the kind that Tom and Donald has. They still beat us a second, but did a lot better than the first heat and got us up there. But we got the racing back there with some guys, and they kind of pulled away, which they do a great job doing that.
And I know we've seen every time we come here, exciting racing down to the wire. This is 50 laps and cautions are on. Are you expecting maybe more than a 2-car race to finish here?
Yeah, I think so. The caution, if we have a caution, we've had 2 races in a row, only 1 car a lap down, so it might not be caution filled as usual, but usually have 1 or 2 during the event, and that'll kind of pack it back up and probably have a run to the line with a big pack.
All right, Gary. Well, thanks for coming and talking to us, and we wish you the best of luck in the feature race.
Thanks, sir.
There you have it from your top 3 finishers, and we again thank them for coming down. Muchly appreciated. But Stephen, I want to take a second and talk about our sponsors for tonight's race. AJ's Masonry. Again, that was I believe Jack Honeycutt's deal, and they are a forgery business, I do believe. iRacerstuff.com. Everything iRacing's on there. If you're interested in anything like that, they have all kinds of news about the builds, about the new seasons, just about everything iRacing. It's there. Richie B's is like you said, a pizza place. If you're hungry, it's right there. Omega Construction, and I guarantee you they're going to get the job done just how you need it. And also at this time we want to throw a shout out to our very own JD Webb, who had surgery. I believe he had not an implant. He had a defibrillator put in his chest, so he's in a lot of trouble. But I know he's back home tonight after getting through the surgery A-OK, and glad to hear he's all right. I know he was saying his shoulder hurt really bad earlier. That's probably a lot of pain to go through after being in surgery. But I know he's probably laying in bed taking a nap now. So we hope and wish him the best of luck in recovery. And that's, I believe, all the sponsors and shout-outs we have currently, Stephen.
Yeah, I think back soon. Gonna miss that cowboy for the next week, but he said he'll be back about a week. Hopefully it's sooner than that. Hope he's enjoying his time off, and can't wait to see him back here.
Yeah, and then we have some interesting things coming up at ETV Live, but in the practice session, we have about 3 minutes remaining in this practice session. The grid will not pop up for about another 3 minutes. You know what? I believe we're just going to step away and throw it to another commercial break, and we will continue this just in time for the race. Tell you what, guys, we are back live with the Paint the Yellow All-Star. Okay, excuse me, I jumped the gun a little bit there, but welcome back everybody to the Paint the Yellow All-Star race. We are in a 50-lap feature race. We have Bern Lavelle with us currently in the booth. I know Bern was having a little bit of troubles, but he's a guy that knows how to get it done in the feature race. Tell us a little bit about it, Bern. Okay, apparently we cannot get a radio connection established with Bern like we thought we had, so unfortunately we can't talk to him, but at least race time has come and we can get ready to go with the grid, and that's... I was really hoping to talk to him after the last interview we had with him at the last feature race. It was pretty funny, but getting set to hit the grid here, and we're going to have, I believe 10 cars took practice laps here, but about 18-20 cars still in this thing, so, or trucks, excuse me there, and every one of them is fast and competitive, unless they've been wrecked out. Almost every one of them finishes on the lead lap. As we saw, Doug Moore was on the very edge, and he was all by himself, so these guys are very competitive, really hard to stay at with. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, and, well, starting third will be Gary Horsley, and starting fourth, Paul Covington.
And starting in the 5th position, Bern Lavelle, who we were trying to talk to but could not, starting on the outside of him. In the 6th position, in the 13, David Pollard.
Yep, starting 7th, Paul Doucette, and starting 8th, Richard Brose.
Starting 9th, Ian Erickson. Starting on the outside of him, Mark Robertson.
Starting in 11th, Jeff Figlin, and starting 12th, Chris Crosby.
Starting in the 13th position, in the number 31, Richard Baumler, and on the outside of him, in 14th position, the 18 machine, Kyle Lewis.
Yep, starting 15th, Kyle Devitt, and starting 16th, Ed Peoples.
starting 17th in the 75 machine. Fred Mossinett, excuse me there. And on the outside of him, Gary Lowe.
Starting 19th, Jack Honeycutt. Starting 20th, Doug Moore.
Starting 21st, Chuck Harris. Starting 22nd on the outside of him, Mickey Tuttle, who we have not seen, and Matt R. Smith starting 23rd to round out your field. Matt has, I don't believe, either been in one of the races, so these two waiting for the last race to come in. I know Mickey is very young but very smart, so excited to see Mickey out on the track. Matt as well. I haven't seen a whole lot of him here recently, but I do remember him, and he was a lot of fun to race around. So we have a field tonight, that is for sure.
Yep, judging by the heat races, we've had some really good racing going on, a couple of spills, and a couple guys wrecking, but not too much. Hopefully they keep it pretty green and clean here, and those front two guys are going to be fast. We've seen them win both heat races, so look out for them tonight.
But here's the ironic part. I don't think anybody that's won a heat race actually won a feature. It might have been done, but not last year, last All-Star race. I believe Bern Lavelle actually snuck through and just barely got it. I don't know how he did. I believe it was a wreck, and he was on the inside, just the right place at the right time. But he knows how to get it done, and I'm kind of wondering if these two are going to fall to bad luck tonight.
Yeah, well, they're pretty dominant in the heat races. If they can get that lead, I don't know what can happen to them other than messing up in their swaps. But these guys behind are definitely going to be hungry. I know they don't want to see those guys win again, so we're going to see who has anything for them here as we're about to go green halfway down the backstretch, heading into turn 3 right now.
Well, okay, so they're 1 and 2, so there are 21 other cars that have, or trucks, excuse me again, that have something for them. It's just who's going to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, we're going to see how that plays out. I know, I believe they don't have to make those green flag pit stops this time, so we're not going to see them spread out. It's going to be a tight pack the whole race, and I know we have cautions this time. That's different. We haven't seen cautions yet, so hopefully they can all get settled in and run pretty clean and get some laps in and before we ever see a caution.
And actually, to correct you there, they do, this Paint the Yellow series runs a restricted fuel tank. It is in the rule book, so they cannot have a fuel tank that's very large. I know it's different from the heat races, so they don't have to pit as much, but they will still have to go down pit road several times, I believe at least twice, maybe 3 times, for green flag pit stops unless there are cautions. As the field gets set, they're about to take the green flag. We're waiting on Tom Moustakis to lead the field to the green, as he did start the heat number 1, and him and Donald Hagen got a good jump on the field then, as they're doing now. Tom Moustakis going evenly with Donald Hagen as they take the green flag.
Yeah, looks like Tom's going to cycle around, and Donald's going to try to get down behind Tom, and that's what they did the first heat race, and they were able to get a big, decent high lead until they had to swap, but these guys behind them, now 3rd and 4th, they're going to file in line, and everyone's looking to get to the bottom early. You do not want to be hung up tight when these trucks are getting up to speed.
Yeah, everybody in Heat 1, I was noticing when I was paying attention that they didn't really look like they were pushing a whole lot. It seemed like everybody was just trying to get through it. Now I'm hoping that they're going to get to the bumper as they do for 3rd and 4th. I believe it's Paul Cummington, and I'm not sure who else. Paul Cummington and Gary Horsley getting hooked up. And we're going to see if they can stick with Donald Hagen and Tom Moustakis this time, or if Moustakis and Hagen are just going to run away with it.
Yeah, we noticed down the backstretch there, Tom and Don were up high, and like they are right here. Everyone else is down low. They're on what we call the qualifying line, and that's the fastest way around this track. If you run the qualifying line, you arc your turns, you really carry more speed around, and that's what they're doing. And the guys behind them are on the inside, which is basically what some call a blocking line. But that's really the main line if you don't want to get past. So we're going to see how those two lines play out there, and you can see those guys on the bottom only catch those guys in the turns. On the straightaway, they hold their own.
Yeah, but all they have to do is just get a little bit of a sniff of the draft, and they will be able to make up time. But as you see, Tom Moustakis and Donald Hagen moving to the bottom. They're going to stay down there just to see if they can hold off those two coming behind them.
Yep, now that those other guys have caught them, those guys are going to move to the bottom, and they're going to try to hold them off. And already, only on lap 2, we have separate packs here. I know we have first half of the field, 11 trucks in one pack, well 10, as Ian Erickson's barely hanging on to their draft. Looks like he's falling back to that second pack, and 12th place leading that second pack along right now, as those front 4 are also trying to separate themselves from the second pack.
I'll tell you what, Fred Mossinett is back there leading another pack. I mean, we have a big group of cars that are all getting racy back there. They're almost 3 wide back there, but again, 3 wide now works. It does not work very well, especially if you're on the outside or the inside. 2 wide barely works as it is, but Fred Mossinett and Jack Honeycutt leading that pack, and running through that pack actually of Matt R. Smith, who we did not see before, Chuck Harris, and Ed Peoples, who I believe has had a little bit of trouble in these things the last few times, but looking for him to eventually get through this outlet and be able to maybe get up in the victory lane. Mickey Tuttle, again, we did not see him earlier. Gary Lowe and Doug Moore. Remember, Doug was in trouble in that first heat race. I'm kind of wondering if he's waiting back there for a caution to maybe play some pit strategy here.
Yeah, it looks like all these guys are just in the back right now. They're just hanging around, kind of trying to get through this race as quickly as possible. And running in the back there, you pay the price by not having the track position. But if there's a wreck, it's much easier to miss it. As now looking at these front guys up here, these guys see if there's a wreck, those guys in the back are gonna have plenty of time to slow down and miss it compared to these guys in this front pack where they're gonna have nowhere to go.
The right place at the right time. That's where Bern Lavelle is currently. It's about where he was last time when he won it. Fourth car on the inside. Do we have a battle for the lead? Because the lead has changed. I believe Paul Covington and Gary Horsley have taken the lead. Tommy Stocks and Donald Hagen have backed up after switching. They're coming on the outside strong though. They are not going to give up this lead very easily as we have a big pack up front now.
Yeah, one of the disadvantages about pushing is you don't have to swaps after those engines get hot. You know, those gauges in this truck this season, they finally added it where they blink. So as soon as the red start showing up on your dashboard, it's time to swap, and which those guys did, and see if they can get clear here heading down to turn 1 as they're going to swap again. So they see they can't really hold the lead down. They've been pushing. They're going to have to swap, and this lead's going to change hands several times over the next few laps.
Thomas Stock is having a little bit of a connection problem. That's not good for him as he is going to the back now. I believe he pulled on the apron just in case, and that's Donald Hagen moving the outside 3 wide. He's going to go to the back, try to get his partner, help him back up there, but that is a dangerous spot to be in.
Yeah, they were 4 wide down the backstretch. Luckily, Tom slowed down to give these guys room, and here's Donald on the high side now as he drops back. So looks like these guys might lose that front pack as they're still side by side right now. Donald's finally going to fall back in behind Tom. And they're going to have to do some work to get back to this front draft here as the second pack's still right behind them, and they've caught them now. So this second pack's coming.
And you talked about the gauges blinking. Well, I don't quite want to go to the gauges blink every time because those gauges lie to me sometimes. I've been in races where, you know, I've been in good spots, I think VSR even, and I was on a broadcast of the race as well with the TV and VSR. And the engine goes boom a lot quicker than what you think it does sometimes. So gauges are not a good thing to go off with the blinking. I'd prefer to go off just before they blink, and that's what some guys are doing just to be careful. I was wondering if this front 2 that just switched, and we actually have a new leader now, as I believe that's Gary Horsley and Bern Lavelle. That's not Gary Horsley and Bern Lavelle, that's David Pollock and Bern Lavelle up front. But you got to be really careful not to heat it up too much. You might hurt the engine if you keep it hot for so long.
Yeah, as long as you're not running tape, what I've established in these super speedway races is that you want to swap every 2 laps. And let's say you swap in turn 1 one time, 2 laps later you're going to be swapping in turn 1 that time, and that usually doesn't overheat the engine. Sometimes you got to make an early swap, maybe the turn before, but usually it's 2 laps you can go on before the engine really gets hot, starts blinking, or blows up.
And Thomas Dawkins and Donald Hagen hooked up back in that second pack, and they're actually moving around. Some car a bit slow on the bottom there, but those guys are hooked back up and look like they're coming back to the front. Thomas Dawkins has his issue fixed, we do believe, but up front, David Pollock and I believe that's Bern Lavelle who won the last feature race we had here with Painted Yellow.
Yeah, Bern's been pushing a while here. I'm sure his engine's...
Yes, he actually is backing off at David Pollock just a little bit there.
Yep, as you see that's what you have to do. You're going to have to swap, or you're going to have to back off and try to keep that engine cool, and that's really tough to do here, especially on the bottom lane. You have the shorter way around the track so you can keep more time, but it's tough as a driver to keep your foot off the gas pedal to back off.
Very tough indeed, and Bern Lavelle actually being smart here. You can back off of somebody, wait for those guys behind you to get a run, and then start pushing. That's what they're doing, because those guys on the outside are doing the same thing. They're backed up because they need to switch, and they can't really do it. As Paul Covington looking for a gap on the inside, can't quite get it, but moving back up to the bumper, Gary Horsley, and guess who's joining the party? Tom Moustakis and Donald Hagen, with Donald and Tom just switching. Donald is up front, and they should be good to go for at least 2 laps, like you said. Look for them to switch in 2 laps in turn number 1.
Yeah. Run earlier than you think, or backing off. You mentioned the side draft from the last race, and with these guys checking up on the bottom to try to stay off pushing, it's going to stack up, and you're going to have to use these high lanes, but we're going to see them try it right here, and that third lane usually does not go anywhere. What the side draft is, the middle gets a big run, and the bottom and top just go straight backwards, and it's really tough to do anything once you have that middle lane.
I'll tell you what, back here in the back, we have a pack of 2, we have 1 car, we have 2 cars, we have 1 car, we have 2 cars, and then we have about 3 cars.
Yep, and oh, someone's on the apron in the front pack. It's the 21. Looks like they were all just checking up, and he got punted down there. So the outside line's going to come to the lead now, and that's going to put Gary Horsley and Paul Covington up front.
And I believe we actually have somebody in the grass. I just heard it, but in the wall, no caution yet that I know of. Caution is out.
Yeah, but like Gary Lowe was involved. 19 of Jeff Figlin. Second time we've seen him involved in the wreck tonight.
Jack Honeycutt as well.
Yeah, looks like Jack got through that, actually. I don't think he was involved. Saw him check up, and he got through clean.
Yeah, it looks like he was actually in the last position. Before that, he was actually slowing down. He had plenty of time to slow down, so he was in a dangerous spot because it was too wide. He checks up just enough, maybe gets a little tiny nudge there, just a small scrape on the side, maybe from, I can't remember, can't tell who that is, Jeff Figlin. So maybe just a small tap for Jack Honeycutt, but get through okay. And they do, I believe, have quick toes, which means they can get the car fixed rather quickly for at least one time.
Yeah, looks like he got in the back of Jeff Figlin to start that whole mess. He went in the grass, and once you're in the grass, there's nothing you can do. And it came back up, shot him in the outside wall, and 38 of Gary Lewis had nowhere to go and plowed in the back of him. Doug Moore also involved. So that's a shame for Doug. I'm trying to see if anyone else was involved in this. It looks like maybe the Matt R. Smith was involved. He got in the back of Doug a little bit. He should be alright, but that's about it for that wreck.
And I'll tell you what, under caution here, it's going to be kind of interesting to see who comes and who doesn't. And I'm not quite sure the window. I do believe it's probably about 18 laps, and I believe they had to make at least 2 stops. But I believe we're seeing a few guys look like they're going to come, and a few guys not really sure they're going to commit here. So we're going to wait until they get to the entrance of pit road. It's going to be all or nothing here, because either way they're going to have to come in a time or two more. And it's Paul Covington, I believe, leading this field. Actually, it's Gary Horsley. Excuse me, there again, leading everybody coming down pit road here. So I'm guaranteeing you, we might see some 2 tires. We rarely see 4 tires because this group is so elite that they just tried to take the fuel and get as much time as they can off pit road. So I'm looking for maybe just a 5-second pit stop at the longest.
I'd expect a pit stop short, and at 10 laps doesn't use that much fuel, and these guys will be coming fuel only. I do not expect them to take tires here, and we're going to see how quick some of these guys get off pit road. There's, I think, the 5. Did he miss his stall? I see him coming out first, and the rest of these guys are going to come out now. Fuel only for everybody.
Yeah, he was 15th position, so I'm guessing he did miss his stall. Let me see if I can go back and take a look at what happened there.
Yep, missed his stall. I'll just take a look at that for you. And I'm sure he'll be coming back in this time, but behind him, Gary Horsley wins the race off pit road. Paul Covington next. Then Donald Hagan, then Gary Lowe. Well, Gary was a lap down, actually. Then Tommy Stakis. And David Pollock.
I'll tell you what, I've got magical communications. I can talk to drivers secretly and privately because I've got some things set up. But Doug Moore just kind of talking to me. I asked him about the fuel window. He said 18 to 19 laps, so we are looking at 18 to 19 laps with this reduced fuel tank. So this could make things really interesting, as right now they can go to about lap, I believe this is about lap 30.
Yep, well, lap 11 right now. I know you can shut the engine off under caution. I'll probably get about another lap, so we're going to be going green about maybe lap 13, I think. We're going to get the 1 to green next time, and that'll give you till about lap 30, like you said. And that's going to be tough for them to make it. I'm sure we're going to see another stop, at least 2 stops at least.
And getting speed off the pit road is important. Trying to make up as much time as you can. Gary Lowe making up just a little bit too much time. He was caught speeding and sent to the rear with an EOL into the longest line penalty. So Gary Lowe going to the back.
Actually, he was involved in that wreck, and I think his damage was pretty severe, so he came down pit road and fixed it when pits were... he's getting an end-of-the-line penalty for unsafe pit entrance, I believe they call it now, or entering closed pits, one of the two, and yeah.
Well, my information probably wrong there then. I was just assuming because he was going to the back, but Ian Erickson diving to pit road because he was not able to find his stall the first time. I believe it was probably earlier in, would be a good assumption. Maybe he was thinking it would be a little bit farther up, and there was a lot of cars on pit road, so it's really hard to, or trucks, excuse me, again, a lot of trucks on pit road, so it's hard to find your stall. So he's going to come to a stop in his stall without a problem this time because he is the only car on pit road.
I'm sure someone keeping track of how many times we're going to make that car and truck mistake tonight. I think the tally's up to about 3 or 4 already. And so Gary Horsley is going to lead us back green next time, I believe, and Donald Hagan second, and Paul Covington third, Tommy Stakis fourth, and David Pollock fifth. So Tom and Donald are working together. They're going to restart nose to tail, as are Gary and Paul. So they're going to be lined up here on the start. So good timing on the pit exit for them.
I'm kind of wondering. I'm not sure that Gary. It's looking like Donald is pulling ahead of Gary on the pace lap, but that doesn't mean anything. Gary could still be in the number 1 spot, so it's kind of interesting and or a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I think Donald's just anxious to go back green here, and he's just getting up on that pace card, and I give him Brett Bodine a hard time right now. I think he's wanting to pick up the pace.
Yeah, without a doubt. And picking up the pace is one thing that's very important here because I think we've mentioned it a few times. If you don't, you're going to get left in the dust with these guys.
Yes, you definitely want to stay in the draft, and these guys are awfully quick around the Super 2.66 mile super speedway here, so if you can't keep up, you're going to be at 3 seconds slower a lap, and that's not good. So we're getting ready to go back green here. As soon as we get back to the line, it's still another half lap away with the start-finish line being so far down, and hopefully these guys can go green for some more laps here. Maybe we can get a round of green flag pit stops in. Alright, 10-4.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually we're going to make a silent lap here in honor of JD Webb, our producer slash everything boss man kind of deal. So unfortunate that he is having his problems, but silent lap here, so I'm going to shut up now.
That was a silent lap there for JD Webb. JD at home tonight, recovering from surgery. JD, that was for you. Hopefully you're doing well. And Gary Horsley and Paul Covington out front, and those guys behind them are David Pollock, here comes Donald Hagen, and Tommy Stockis on the outside.
And another thing here, Dalton England, who works as kind of like a mascot here at ETV Live, was requesting a shout-out be put out for JD Webb, and like we said again, silent lap for JD Webb, and we wish him the best of luck in recovering. But looking back, as we are green flag racing here, and in the back, single file, the front pack is not as close as it was before. You gotta wonder if it's going to be the same, but Tommy Stockis and Donald Hagen moving on the outside of, I believe that's Gary Horsley and Paul Covington. As it's going to be close to the line, but I believe Horsley may lead this lap. Donald Hagen on the outside. It was close that time, as they were separated by less than 1/10 of a second. I do hear somebody hitting the wall somewhere. Not sure who it was.
It was actually 15 of a second. Kyle Lewis looks to be a little far back from that lead pack. I believe he was up there, and they're going about 3 wide up there in the front pack right now, and now back to 2 wide. But they're spreading out, getting a little bit racy here, and I believe we have 14 trucks in the front pack, and I know I see Jack Honeycutt, Doug Moore leading the second pack right now. So you have a couple of different packs right now. I believe 3.
And taking over the lead, dropping in front of the low line because they're going to block, because that's what you have to do here. And it does not ensure you the spot because people can still use that outside lane. Donald Hagen and Tommy Stockis, and Donald Hagen will be your new leader this time by.
Yep, those guys fast, and they're going to head back up front. I'd just like to point out that Ian Erickson's lost the draft here, and last time by he was 5.5 seconds behind the leaders. The leaders are swapping now. This time by he's going to be a little bit farther than that. So 8 seconds that time. Loses 3 seconds a lap, which that means he may get a lap soon. But fortunate for him. But now we have another battle for the lead.
And this is dangerous because they don't want to go 3 wide. They were actually trying to push Donald back beside Tommy Stockis to see if they couldn't make them race it. Because they knew that Tom cannot push him right now. But they managed to get the swap and actually put those cars that were third and I believe, or that were behind them, actually moving back at least a spot or 2 on the racetrack. So Tommy Stockis and Donald Hagen able to switch and manipulate the traffic how they need it.
Yep, so Gary Horsley, Paul Covington, Tommy Stockis, and Donald Hagen have been the front 4 since we've gone green. Pretty much this whole race they've been out front. And they're continuing to lead here, and here comes Tom on the outside, and him and Donald look to take the lead down the back stretch as these inside guys have to back off.
And looking at Thomas Dawkins and Donald Hagen, not quite there yet, but they are on the outside lane and they are moving in a hurry. Look like they should be able to take the lead here as they do, and they're going to be able to drop into the inside, but will they have to switch again in turn number 1? It could be close because these things heat up, and once they heat up, they're hard to cool down. Looking back here, though, the full pack is there almost. I believe Ian Erickson may be one of the few guys left out here, and a few guys in the back. I believe that's not quite sure who that is. Fred Mossonet and Jeff Figlin still a little bit out of this lead pack, but everybody is there.
Yeah, so we're gonna have, I'm sure these two guys will catch up to that pack, and we're gonna have a 22 truck pack next time by, it looks like, and that's a pretty big pack. I know we have still another pit stop to take care of, but having almost every truck in the field battling out here, and they're 3 wide for the lead. Oh, someone slides up there. I think we'll get a partner. They're all over the place now. 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. And it looks like Donald Hagen and Tom Moustakis had to swap there in turn 1. That caused a lot of confusion, and now they're going to the lead on the outside line. We saw the guys on the outside. That'd be the 24 truck of Ed Peoples and the 60 truck of Mickey Tuttle behind him. We saw them go from the lead all the way back to the end of midway through this pack, about 10th place. But we mentioned that side draft was really bad, and if you get up high, that's really going to cost you a lot of time, and that really slingshotted Donald and Tom back to the lead.
And I just wanted to pull up the chat room here, and I see that we don't have many people in there. See Justin and JD also joining us. Dalton's in there as well. But just want to again throw another shout out to JD as he is at home again, and I'm glad that he's able to tune in and maybe listen to this.
Yeah, it's great to see JD here, and I'm happy to see him watch. And looks like we have a 3-car draft. I'm taking the lead right now. I'm not sure that works in iRacing, but usually we see the 2-truck draft, but we're seeing 3 trucks pull away from the field right now.
You thought 2 trucks were fast. Just wait. Just here recently, everybody was complaining that 3 trucks can pull away, or I mean 2 trucks can pull away. The third's just left in the dust. And the drive-through model has been changed several times, but now it's 3 cars can work and they can be very, very fast. It is very hard to do though, and they're showing how expert they are at this drafting here, as they are making it work and they are running away.
Yeah, they're gonna have to swap now. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens when they swap. I know there's gonna be 2 of them that are probably hot, and yeah, it looks like they're having some confusion now as this pack's about to run them back down. As they're going to try to get 3 trucks sorted out again, but here comes the rest of the pack.
And I'm looking in the back here as I believe a little bit of action, not much, but in those cars that are all spread out, one of them, Doug Moore, remember, was at the back of the second heat, as we actually have 3 wide up there, and I believe somebody making a little bit of contact, but Jack Honeycutt pushing Doug Moore, Richard Baumler back there as well with Fred Mossonet, and those 2 actually somewhat gaining on those 2. So we could see a battle back there all the way for 18th. So there's action all over the racetrack here. But looking up there, who was 3 wide, Steven?
I saw someone go back on the inside. I believe that was Gary Horsley, and the 14 of Kyle Devitt was in it. And it was a green truck. I'm kind of sure who that was. Mark Robertson. And they went 3 wide there, and they got it all sorted out quick. It looks like just getting with partners. And I'd like to recap when we saw those 3 trucks pull away. I believe we heard Donald and Tom say that they're Chris Crosby is their teammate, and they're trying to keep him up there. So these 3 trucks trying to lead the way right now, and it's all 3 of them together with Richard Brose in 4th now.
And I'm not sure, but yeah, like you said, Richard Brose. I was actually looking. I thought I saw somebody else. I was thinking I saw Bern Lavelle, but not quite. He is back there. Moving back like he's on the outside lane with no help, but side by side with Paul Cummington there.
Yeah, we saw Paul and Gary been working together, but looks like Gary's gone with Mark Robertson right now, as they're going to head back to the lead pack, and Chris Crosby looking to go to the lead now for the first time tonight.
That is interesting because Chris did not race. I believe maybe he started in the second heat. He didn't even race the first heat. Now he's up there racing for the lead.
Yeah, looks like he's going to take the lead here. Let's see if he can bring Brose around with him here. And I'm not sure if they can't quite get clear in turn 3 or not, but it looks like they're swapping behind them now as someone, I believe that's Don that was pushing, and he got really hot there, and now they're going to branch out again, 3 and 4 wide.
3 wide, and that is Richard Brose on the outside, Richie B, and again a sponsor, and Donald Hagen is side by side. He's 3 wide. He's got, I believe that's I think I said Richard Brose. I think it changed. I don't even know who's up there anymore. Chris Crosby, and he was on the outside of Tommy Hawkins. He jumps down the into the inside. He has his partner behind him. Mark Robertson was all by himself. He's able to sneak through there, and he is now on the outside of the leaders. Getting a little bit of a shove now, as Bern Lavelle has also been changing lanes. He went to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to the top, and he's back in the middle.
Yep, we're still seeing 3 wide. We saw Brose and Crosby up there battling for the lead last time by we're in the backstretch. This time they're back almost outside the top 10, and once again they caught up in that 3rd lane, and oh, we got trouble. 14, 04, and the 17 are around. Oh, here comes the rest of the field piling into it. The big one here at Talladega Superspeedway.
I was a little bit more than the big one as everybody involved back there in the rear of the field. Jack Honeycutt, and I believe he was caught in an earlier one. Doug Moore, Gary Lowe, several guys here. Kyle Lewis, Kyle DeVitt, Paul Doucette, and Paul Doucette is actually dog tracking his car. Jeff Figlin, who we saw involved earlier, I do believe he was in it as well. And smoke coming out of Chuck Harris's machine, I believe he was in one earlier as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and look what started that, but I saw 2 cars sideways, and they went up to the wall, and I've gone 200 miles per hour around this speedway. There's nowhere to go for a wreck, and I collected about 8 trucks there, and big break for Ian Erickson. We saw him 30 seconds behind the lead, so he's going to get a chance to come up race with this big pack here, and that's one of the problems with having a big pack. You got a lot of trucks all tight together and cause some big wrecks.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but we did go a long time without that big one. That's something I don't think we've seen last time. I can't remember, but I don't remember seeing that big of a wreck. So Paint Yellow also setting their big wreck, or the big one record, I guess, as well as many close finishes as they provide every time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have the replay keyed up yet, but what happened there was the 14 was 3 wide with the 11 and the 04, and I'm trying to see who came down, who came up. Looks like Chuck Harris came off the bottom a little bit and tagged the 14 truck of, I believe that's Kyle Devitt. And that started a chain reaction wreck, getting the 17 involved, the 38 involved, and everyone back there. Looks like Kyle Lewis got involved, the 75. The 74 piled in as well, and a lot of trucks taking heavy damage there. Looks like Jack Honeycutt, like you mentioned. So tough break for a lot of these guys, as that's really going to cause a lot of problems.
And several guys actually staying on pit road right now, and they're going to go a lot down, like I believe that's, I'm not sure here, I'm believing Gary Lowe, Kyle Lewis, and Doug Moore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for all of them. I'm not sure how many tows you get, like you talked about, where it just fixes your truck for you, almost like going to a backup truck. I believe it's 1, so a lot of these guys, I know Doug was involved in the earlier wreck, so he still has damage, so tough break for him, tough break for the 38. We saw him go up in the first wreck, and I believe Kyle had to use a tow because his engine blew in the middle of the wreck.
Yeah, it is one tow, one fast tow, so everybody that gets damage, if they've already fixed it, I know Doug Moore has, he was talking to me about it, he had to stay there for at least a minute, and that's what's going to cost him a lap, so it's going to be on whether he can get that lap back now or not. He'll need a lucky dog, or a caution at least, to get that lucky dog position. But I went back and I looked at where Doug was at. He was the last car almost on the inside line, so that affected a lot of cars.
Yeah, that happened about mid-pack, about that 3 wide, just bunched him up from the front of the pack all the way to the back and turn 3, and there's definitely not enough room given there, and whoever was on the bottom lane, I believe it was Chuck Harris, he slid up just about half a lane and caught the 14 left rear quarter panel, and that caused a lot of issues.
Chris Crosby actually coming across the radio, I just saw something, and actually had somebody inform me that Chris Crosby actually taking the blame for that wreck over Ed People, so Chris Crosby kind of manning up.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I believe he was on the outside there, 3 wide, and he kind of pinched those 2 guys down, and that's what caused the contact. So not a lot of room there. I know this is a huge track, and you can really fit 4 wide here if you really squeeze them together, and that time just wasn't enough room there, as they tried to fit 3 trucks in 2 lanes, which is not the brightest idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, Talladega Superspeedway is a very big track, and especially for pace laps. So we're going to step away, take a break, and maybe fill up a little bit of this pace lap with a commercial or 2. Alright, and welcome back with Paint the Yellow and their All-Star race. It's Talladega, it's the trucks, it's dangerous, it's fast, it's close racing. It always is with these guys, and if I was talking about the chat room and you were scratching your head, it's because you don't see it. It's right below the broadcast itself where it says click here for interactive chat room and live stats. Just click the where it says here and it should pop you up. Just pick a name, any name. You don't have a password or nothing, and then you're able to chat with us live throughout the race. You can ask questions and all kinds of things. Always lots of fun to interact with the chat room.
Yeah, definitely is fun to get in that chat room here, and now we're going to focus back to the racing, and the pace car is about to pull off here. Donald Hagen, Tom Wistakis is going to lead us back to green, and looks like third's going to be Gary Horsley, fourth Paul Covington, right on top 5 David Pollock. So basically where we were last restart, it's a different order, but same old top 5. And here comes Donald, Brendan's down nice and slow, and he's going to go, and him and Donald are going to get a very big jump here on the field as the green flag is now out.
Yeah, but they cannot change lanes before the start-finish line, so they're good now to change lanes. Is Tommy Stalkus diving in behind Donald Hagen, able to get right back behind him and get to his bumper, maybe going to push him around the track.
Yeah, they're going to get back here pushing each other like they were last run, as these guys behind them haven't gotten hooked up yet, so they're going to try to gain some time here and pull away a little bit.
And I believe that's Paul Covington with Gary Horsley behind him. Those two are not pushing yet, not quite there, so those leaders are getting a good gap on them because they weren't quite there. But now that they're there, they've got a three-truck draft almost, and there's like 4 or 5, 6, something in that number, large number. Is Bernavelle actually falling off now, backing up to the truck behind him? There's another one.
Yeah, it looks like those three got together, and there's a little checkup for Byrne, and he got in the back of Gary, and now those front two are a little bit ahead now. I believe they have about a half-second lead on the guys behind them, and now here comes the outside line with Richard Brose and Chris Crosby. So they're coming back to the back after Chris said he caused the last wreck by not giving enough room. Now they're coming back to the front.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You see those two cars in front moving to the very outside line. They are trying to get rid of all draft because these cars are coming. They got side draft. They're going really fast right now. And either way, with those two cars sticking with them on the outside, they're pulling the inside almost right now. And they have the draft of the two leaders in the straightaways. And the inside line has it in the turn. So they are able to pretty much gain time anywhere now, it seems like, because they are in a back.
Yeah, we should expect those front two to be swapping anytime soon. They got hooked up way before the guys behind it. And here comes the second pack now with Paul Covington leading the way. They're going to get a run on these front two, and looks like they're going to take it to the inside here in turn 1.
And they're switching. Tommy Stalkus going the inside, Donald Hagen to the outside, and they actually had to check up on the inside lane there because of Tom diving down there and Donald moving up. But now they are 2 wide, almost 3. They are 3 back there somewhat, as that outside lane car of Richard Brose diving down the inside. I do believe that was Richie. And now we have Paul Covington is your current leader with Gary Horsley and Bern Lavelle right behind him, pushing with 3 trucks.
Yep, those inside line's going to take the lead here in the center of the turn. I know that outside line's going to get a run off the turn, and those two are going to head back to the front, but looks like Paul Covington might get to the line first this time to lead this lap.
Indeed he will, unless he gets wrecked, and he does not get wrecked, so he is going to lead this lap, move Paul Covington up the board as he's going to move up the track to initiate a switch. And that's going to put Tommy Stalkus and Donald Hagen in a tough position here as they try to move 3 wide. Bern Lavelle, and actually they are switching, so Gary's going to move up to the outside, so they are 3 wide now. Bern Lavelle on the bottom with somebody pushing him. They're not sure who that is, but they are now 3 wide. That middle lane is the lane to beat when you are 3 wide, and they are showing it because they just switched, and now they are driving through those guys like they are standing still. And Tommy Stalkus and Donald Hagen now have several cars they have to let go before they can actually get off the bottom. So Gary Horsley and Paul Covington in a good spot. So we have 4 wide back there. Wow. I believe I can't remember who it would be here. I'm thinking who used to do the Friday night stuff?
Jesse James, I believe. You're talking about the phone booth, you would say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name. Jesse James, who used to do the Friday night series. I believe he's kind of gone now, but as he would say there, they were in kind of a phone booth.
Yeah, they were, and that was a very bold move by Donald, and now they're going to have to come through the field again. Donald taking 3 wide up the middle, wow. He's feeling really aggressive there, and that's a very aggressive move, and now they're going to get separated, Donald and Tom. Tom did not follow Don through the middle there, as they're going to be separate now. We're going to see if they can get back together here soon.
Or even if they want to get back together, that's very dangerous. Oh, Tom moving Donald there. That could have been bad.
Yeah, Tom's
that
actually not behind him. Tom's behind Mickey Tuttle.
Yeah, that was me. Tuttle, he moved, getting up on the bumper, pushing him, and I believe he pushed him into Donald Hagen, which moved him. But Tommy Stalkus moved down the inside lane. He is back there, well in the back now, I believe. Oh,
we have Donald Hagen around.
Donald Hagen involved.
Wow, so very big change of events here. We saw those guys dominating the race, and now they're involved in a wreck, and a couple more guys are going to pile into it in the back, and I gotta go back and see what happened there. I saw some cars go to the outside lane, and tough break for Donald.
Yeah, but if Donald has not used a fast tow, he should be okay to use his fast tow here and maybe get the car fixed quickly. And fast tow is basically like bringing out the backup car rather quickly. But Donald Hagen, I'm looking at it. He's on the outside. He moves maybe down. I'm not sure. He moves down. He got spun off the front end of I believe that's Mickey Tuttle. Maybe a little bit of an issue there, connection-wise possibly. But for some reason, Donald Hagen was spun off the front end of Mickey Tuttle, and that put him down in the bottom lane around, and he is now smoking, smoke pouring out of that engine, and I believe he is still in turn 3 and 4, as where the rest of the field is, well, I believe through turns 1 and 2 and onto the backstretch. The pace car is heading into turn number 3, not far ahead of Donald Hagen.
Yeah, and Jack Honeycutt took the wildest ride I think I've ever seen there on that wreck. I believe he was almost over the catch fence, though. He almost had a date with the fans there, and I'm going to see who else piled into that. I see the 5 truck involved. Donald Hagen, Mickey Tuttle. See if Paul Doucette got through. He made it through the middle. A nice job by him. And I believe that might have gotten involved maybe Kyle Devitt. No, he made it through clean. So about 5 trucks involved there. And Jack Honeycutt definitely took a wild ride there.
Jack again, Jack always getting him bad luck. It seems like I believe that's he was in the last heat race. I believe he was wrecked out as well, and I believe he has used his fast tow. So Jack Honeycutt may have to send up pit road for a while, if not for the rest of the race. So Jack Honeycutt in trouble. We'll see if we can get a word with him a little bit later in the race.
Yeah, I think after that ride there, he shot about. I'm not going to underestimate height, but he shot pretty far up in the air there, and I think that blew the engine. But everyone's going to come down pit road here. We heard the windows by 18 to 19 laps. They should be good on fuel from here, as everyone's going to come in and take fuel only, it looks like.
The laps are staying out because well, they have to. They cannot pit the first time by. So if you see cars out there, odds are they're a lap down. As Kyle Lewis actually getting the wave round because he was the lucky dog. Gary Lowe in front of the pace car for some reason driving away. I'm not sure whether he was in front or not before that. But Doug Moore is now behind the pace car with Fred Moss in it. They are both, I believe, laps down here is. Yeah, they would be laps down, except for the fact they are in front of the leaders because the leaders went down pit road. So it's going to be on whether they come down this time or not, on whether they get a wave round and get back on the lead lap or not.
Yeah, it looks like Gary is actually 9 laps down, as his last lap was 13 minutes long, so he's going to wait for the field to go by here. And Vern Lavelle is actually the first guy off pit road, so he's going to be our new leader. Shame we couldn't get a word with him earlier. Maybe we can see if we can get a word with him now that he's out front. I'm sure he's pretty excited to go back green. Paul Covington second, David Pollock third. Gary Horsley 4th, Chris Crosby 5th, and Tommy Stock is 6th. So
what was that?
Break for Donald Hagen, and we're gonna send to Dakota now. Looks like he's caught up with Byrne.
Yes, I know we couldn't get the radio to work earlier, but I think our tech guys are back there. I think John was tinkering with it, and he got it to work because we just heard him. I think I was trying to get him. And Byrne Lavelle, do you got us in the radio?
Yeah, I do.
You won the feature of the last All-Star race, and you are back up front in the lead again. How did you manage to do it?
Out of the pits. I got a jump on Paul Covington coming out of the pits. Strategy, taking it easy. I think I'm working with Dave Balak. I think I am. But you know, when we get down to the last 5 laps, who the hell knows who you'll be working with. But I'm hoping I'm working with Dave.
And you know this from the last All-Star race. Explain a little bit about that, and I remember our awesome, epic interview at the end.
We had a lot of fun. Oh, that was a blast. I had a hell of a time that night, and I'm having a good time now. I'm sweating. I got a beer in hand. Love these new... I like the idea of having those, what do you call it, yellow flags. Gives me a time to have a beer, relax, if there is such a thing. No, I'm having fun. Strategy right now, just taking it easy. Try not to push too hard, trying to stay out of trouble, making sure you got some friends up front when it comes down to the push.
Tommy Stalkus and Donald Hagen have been fast all night long, but they have managed to come up front. do you have anything for him?
That's just it. That is my concern. I guess the last 3 laps will tell, huh? Hey, look, it's still anybody's race. Lap 35, we still have 15 laps to go. A lot of stuff can happen here. A lot of stuff. Sit pretty, sit tight, try not to be a sitting duck. And again, make sure you have friends up front. And I know that Donald and Tom are not going to help me, so I'm going to need friends up here. But I'll be friends with others as well.
Yeah, looks like you got a bunch of guys up here. I know Donald's a lap down, actually. Tom's going to be on his own, but...
Oh, are you serious? Donald lap down?
Yes, Donald's caught a lap down in that wreck.
Bonus! Yeah, I'm liking that now. I'm liking that more and more. Dave and I were shooting the shit there before the... but you know what, too? I'm in TeamSpeak with Doug Moore, Gary Lowe, Kyle, and I think Matt's down there, too. And I'll tell you what, any one of these guys make it up front here, you can bet your sweet buns that I'm going to push them.
Yeah, you're out front now. Now, we know you're leading. Now, I know you said you were trying to work with Dave here. Are you guys going to plan on swapping, or are you going to try to stay out front?
Well, I don't know. I tried a trick here. I wanted to see if it worked. I can extend another lap. I can maybe get 2 laps more if I squeeze it right. But I am touch and go, and it's not something I've practiced a lot. I have a trick or 2 up my sleeves. We'll see if I can make it work. And that's if I'm on a push on the last, say, 3 laps. I might be able to push Dave to finish, or someone to finish, if I play my cards right.
You know, drinking and driving really affects most drivers in the real world and causes a lot of crashes. But you're leading a race and you're drinking. I mean, how does...
I'm not drinking to that extent. Listen, I'm on my 3rd one. I'm zipping back on them. I mean, yes, I do always have. I've got a pile of beer beside me here, yes, but I just zip on them. I don't, you know, polish a bottle every minute here.
Well, thank you, Bern. Steven, you have any more questions for him?
Do you ever take up a career of stand-up comedy? I think you'd be pretty good at it. You should
Actually, you want to know something? I do like to make people laugh. At work, I can make people laugh. I love to talk, and I can be witty sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. Okay, it's almost showtime, guys. Watch us go. Wish us luck. Hope Dave's there when I need him.
All right, Bern. Well, good luck to you. We're gonna let you get to your team. I know you got.
We just lost Donald Hagen. Ooh, Tom's gonna be in a predicament. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, well, Donald's gone. Looks like he had a lot of damage there, and he's dropped many laps. So, good luck to you, like we said.
Hey, but that said, you know something? If push comes to shove and Tom needs my help at the end, I already won one. So, do I need to win this one? No, I don't need to win this one. I'd rather push somebody to the victory. We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna try this 3rd time. Well, we're gonna send it back to your TeamSpeak channel so you can get with your buddies.
Roger
good luck
that.
to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming in here.
And again, knock on wood for the ETB jinx. You know, I hope that doesn't take him out because that has before. But Steven's like, man, we should try to get Bern on the radio if this thing's working now.
Yeah, maybe if it gets taken out, we can bring him back in here and he can tell us about the wreck. But or maybe we'll get him back here for victory lane. Who knows? But Pace Carter's coming to turn 3 and 4. Bern's gonna lead us off, and he said he's working with Dave. Dave's in 3rd. They're lined up. So I know I've seen Gary and Paul work together too. They're lined up on the outside. Tom's gonna have to find a partner now. I believe he's gonna go with his teammate Chris Crosby. He starts in 5th. So we're gonna see how that goes here. We go back green, and it's gonna be a good show here for about 14 laps once we hit the line.
Yeah, and David, like he said, has been working with him. He finished 3rd in the first heat, and that put him in the back. He was not quite able to rally up to 3rd again, but he is since in 3rd position now, and he is sitting in a good spot because he's right behind the guy he's pushing. So we're just going to see how well these two can come out on the restart. And they have private channels unlike NASCAR, so they can talk to each other, so it's all on how well they communicate.
Yep, pace car's off, and Bern's bringing us down awfully quick here as we're heading towards the line, and he's going to get green as they're not going to get that big of a jump. Paul's going to hang with him, and Bern checked up big time there, and that's going to cause a stack up.
I think he was just trying to back up to David so he could get him on his bumper, and he did a good job of that. And Chris Crosby had to check out just a little bit, but he's not quite out of it. He's got Mark Robertson right behind him, and Mark does not have a partner. It seems like all night long he's been in trouble, so maybe those two can hook up. And you gotta wonder, maybe Tom and Chris will try to get hooked up here.
Yeah, like we said, Tom and Don were talking about how they're teammates, and we interviewed them before the this race. So we're gonna see if Tom can get there. Right now, everyone's staying in line. Bern's still out front. He's getting help from David, and see if that outside line can make a run here. We see Chris coming on the inside. He's gonna pull up to their back bumper.
2 wide. Paul Covington and Horsley leading the outside lane, and maybe just a little miscommunication on that side lane. They're trying to push, and I believe they might have just caught the rear end just a little wrong there, but nothing too big, as they're still up in front. And I believe Chris Crosby maybe moved just a little bit there. He's having a little bit of trouble trying to get that three truck tango to work. As like I said earlier, it's very hard to do, and you have to keep the wheel very steady as well as the other two do as well.
Yeah, if you twitch once when you're trying to make 3 trucks work, someone's going to go flying to another lane, and that's really going to slow you down. And here comes that outside line. Here comes Paul Covington. He's going to take the lead here. Gary Horsley pushing him. We see those two hooked up all night, and they're not going to be able to clear him. They're going to try to, but Burns going to hang strong on the inside line and make a run back in the turn.
Anyway, they just came disconnected just a little bit, and Gary Horsley also moving the outside a little bit off of Covington. That will cost them time, but Vern LaBelle fighting back strong on the inside line. He is not going to give this one up, as they are really close to the line. Looks like Paul Covington may get it. Yes, it's going to be Paul Covington, but Vern LaBelle going to cross the line second with Gary Horsley in 3rd position.
Yeah, they're going to try to clear him once again. Looks like Gary will not be able to get down to the inside line. Expect them to get it on the back stretches. We're going to expect to see some swaps from those two soon, as they've been pushing here for about 2 laps now, so I'm expecting to see Gary get hot here and see if the inside line can keep with him.
And how about that 3rd car on the outside lane? That's that's Tommy Stakis, who has no partner, no more. He actually has Richie B right behind him, Richard Bruce, as we do have the 2 leaders, 2 new leaders, Paul Covington and Gary Horsley, dropping in as, Stakis almost put in the wall by Richie B, but those 2 leaders actually dropped in front of the inside line, and Vern LaBelle had to check up just a little bit. They just stack up, but and then Tommy Stakis almost get put in the wall, or just a little bit moments ago, and the outside lane is just driving away from him now.
Yeah, on the inside was Gary Horsley went down to the apron when he was trying to get down. That caused a stack up on the inside, and it looks like he's able to keep down there, and he's having no problems now. He's going to try to work his way back to the front, with his teammate Chris Crosby sliding up in front of him.
And Tommy Stocks has actually moved the outside of Chris Crosby, so Chris not working with him tonight, as Tommy Stocks just wants the win, as he has somebody else behind him now. I'm not sure who that is. Let's see if I can get a close-up of Tommy Stocks here.
That would be the 14 truck is going to be behind him, I believe. Yes, that is the 14 truck of Kyle Devitt.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a whole game. I believe he did win a race early, though. He was newer when I've been around a few times, but he is not the slowest guy out there, as we have a battle for the lead, like you said. And I believe that's Richie B on the outlane.
Yes, that's him coming along with Jeff Figlin there, and Jeff's going to get a little disconnected there. So Paul's going to go back to the lead on the inside line here down the straightaway, and we're going to see if those guys on the outside can get a run again.
And this is dangerous. 3 cars pushing, and Jeff has been a little all over the place, it seems like. But I remember Jeff was involved in like 2 cautions so far this race, I do believe. Maybe 1 or 2 wrecks the last few races. So Jeff, things are not going his way tonight, but he is up in the top spot. He is 2nd car in line on the outside lane.
Yep, Jeff's been in some trouble. I believe he was involved in our first caution of the night, and he's recovered nicely. We said it was 50 laps, is a long way, and he's really done a nice job to get back to the front.
And 3 wide, and I'm not sure who that is, but they are 3 wide, now they're 2 wide, as the very outside lane oddly is able to prevail, but I mean, it's just like 3 single cars and 1 car trying to push on the bottom, as they are now double file 2 deep.
Yep, 12 cars in the sleep pack here. We got a couple guys in the 2nd pack trying to fight now. 13th through 16th are in this pack, and that's about it on the lead lap right now. Yep, 16 cars on the lead lap, or 15 actually, and 16th car is hanging around there helping them out. So we're looking at the front pack now. 16 cars fight for the finish, and we've got another lead change, it looks like.
Yes, Horsley and Paul Covington actually switching so that they could cool down, and Vern LaBelle coming to the inside with David Pollock and him. He is going to be able to lead this lap. Remember, leading laps is not a big deal here, it really seems like. There's no really bonus points, I don't believe. Everything that's on the line now is money, so everybody's fighting for every spot they can get as we're closing down 8 laps to go in this painted yellow All-Star race, feature race.
Yeah, we saw Jeff Figlin in 4th place last time by. This time 12th place, as he got hung up on that side, lost a ton of spots there. As now he's going to fall back, maybe outside there, made it out 15th spot now as he finally gets sorted out. And the outside line's coming strong and take the lead again. Gary Horsley out front still on the outside, Vern LaBelle on the inside. Those 2 guys going at it.
And Richie B pushing Keaton and Horsley, or he was right there pushing him. Now he's kind of hanging back just a little bit, but he has the speed. Actually, if he dove down the middle and made them not clear, I guarantee you Horsley would have stayed to the outside lane to help Covington, and Richie B would have actually had speed and momentum to go through and clear both lanes and get to the inside lane and kind of take the lead. That could have been something unique, but Richie B maybe not fighting for everything as hard as he can, and he is the sponsor tonight.
Well, Richie B's dropping to the back now as looks like Tom finally found Crosby, and they're working together as they're up high and they're 3 wide, and they're going to head back to the back as Richie B's going to get that run up the middle like you were talking about earlier, and Tom and Chris going to the back. This looks like someone's stepping on the outside. They're going to swap for the lead as Mark Robertson's going to step up to the outside and try to pick up Richie B.
And here comes Burton Lavelle the inside. Those two leaders on the outside not able to quite to get hooked up, but Covington and Horsley now hooked up on the outside lane. Richie B getting to their bumper. And remember that middle lane is the place to be when you are 3 wide, and I think that was Mistakis' downfall there. But he is with Crosby. Like we said, we know those guys are fast as they broke away in a three-car truck train, basically.
Yep, and I like to point out the 2 different strategies going on out front. We have Covington and his partner Horsley. They've been swapping back and forth every time they got hot. And Lavelle and Pollock, or that's not Pollock, I believe he's working with Pollock right now. They have not been swapping at all. They've been just laying back and keeping the engines cool, and they're both up there, so either strategy would really work. And if I'd like to go with the strategy that Burns going with right now. I think that's going to be the one at the end, because there's less of a chance of losing spots.
Yes, sir, that is. Pollock is 2 wide all the way back, as two cars actually jumping out to the very outside lane for a split second. Not quite, as they're trying to get back in line. 3 wide almost back there in the back with the 24, the 11, I can't see who's in the middle. 3 wide, though, all the way to the back. And, oh, wrecking the back, and we'll fly. I do believe the 31 I'm seeing. I believe the 38, maybe?
Yeah, 31's around Richard Bulmer, and that might end the race here. I know we're on lap 46. The 19 was also involved. They were 3 wide, and looks like the 19 just came up into the 88 and just bounced off. Just played pinball and took out 3 trucks there. Now we have 5 to go. I'm not sure if we'll get a 1-lap shootout or not, but hopefully we'll go back green again. Hoping that we do. That way we can see an awesome finish. But if not, Paul Covington would be your winner.
Kind of wondering, as the pace car is in turn 2, it's going to be a matter of how fast they catch the pace car. I do believe this thing will not continue, but let's see. We'll go a little while and see if we can't get a word on this from some of the drivers. We're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with whether we're going to go green flag again or not.
JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
All right, and welcome, race fans. Getting word that the race is over. It was an exciting one. The first one, I believe, that's going to finish under caution for us. But joining us in the booth, Jack Honeycutt. You had a lot of trouble tonight, but you always have fun out there. It seems like, and you make it interesting. But I really wanted to bring you in here and talk about your sponsor, AJ's Masonry.
Yeah, AJ Masonry is one of our 4 sponsors. That's my masonry company.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we specialize in renovation restoration. We work in the Washington metropolitan area. We do a lot of historic repair.
I know we've ran through the sponsor a few times now, and I want to pull this back up. AJ's Masonry, Richie B's, and I know that's a pizza place. If you want to elaborate on a few of these for us, just a little bit more information.
Yeah, Richie B's is an Italian restaurant / pizza place. He has about 4 franchise restaurants in different cities in the United States. And then there's a Mega Construction. They're in North Carolina. And iRacer Stuff is a website by my co-owner of the league, James Howard.
And again, iRacers.com is your place for everything iRacing. But Jack, what was your thoughts on the racing so far tonight?
Actually, I would say tonight was one of our best All-Star races. Heat 1 went fantastic. All 22 drivers on the lead lap. Heat 2, I think, went very good. I don't have the stats in front of me. The main event, it went pretty good. There was a few shake-ups. I didn't quite survive, just a bad break. Little bump draft went wrong on the high lane and took me out. But in general, it was an exciting event. I would have liked to have it finished under green flag, but it didn't. And what's exciting for me is one of our sponsors, Paul Covington, looks like he is going to take the checkered flag for a Mega Construction, and it always makes me feel good when a sponsor does well.
Paul's going to take the checkered flag tonight. Now, about that wreck, we saw you take a pretty wild ride there. You want to tell us about what happened there?
It was a little scary, right? I got dizzy for a split second, and I didn't really know where the hit came from until I went back and had to watch the replay myself.
Yeah, you went about, I'm not going to estimate the height, but you went pretty high in the air there. I want to make sure you're okay after that one.
I tell you, it was a scary little ride.
Alright, Jack, and I want to thank you for coming out tonight and talking to us. And unfortunately, you had a bad ending to your night, but I hope you can overcome your bad luck and maybe get them next time in the All-Star race.
Well, like they say, a bad day at the office or a bad day at the track, it's a bad day at the track is still better than a good day at the office, though.
Yes, sir, and that is Jack Honeycutt, who actually runs the league, Paint the Yellow, and I believe he has a co-owner of James Howard or Donald Hagen. But I want to thank him again for coming out and putting this event together. Muchly appreciated, and it's always fun to call all of these. We actually just together, I believe, the last second that the ET was going to jump back in there. But again, I also want to throw another shout out to JD Webb again for him being out, but glad that he's all right. And I know he hit the sack and he's going to bed. And we wish him the best of luck. And again, he'll be back here soon.
Yeah, I know. JD joined us in the chat room earlier today, and good to see him up and around after coming to surgery yesterday. But we're on the last lap here, and coming through 1 and 2. We're not going back green. We're going to finish staying under caution. Unfortunately, iRacing does not have the green-white checkers implemented. So Paul Covington, your winner. Gary Horsley coming in second. Bern Lavelle third. Hopefully we can get him back in the booth. And Richard Brose fourth. David Pollock rounds out your top 5.
And, you know, we probably won't get quite the celebration we got from him last time, but you know what? He's a funny guy, and I'm going to be glad to have him back in the booth just for an interview for 3rd place. He's a really good guy and a lot of fun to talk to all the time.
Yeah, I enjoyed that last interview with him. He likes to talk a lot. You can tell. I know we can't really get a full question in, so. But I'm sure we'll get Paul and Gary in here, too. I know they had a good run. They worked together all night. Maybe we can get a joint interview there. That'd be kind of cool, because I know they were partners the whole race. I know a lot of people like to say you win as a team, you lose as a team, and they are the team to beat tonight.
And I just want to throw a shout out here again, just kind of a random shout out here. If you like the racing you saw tonight, paintttheyellow.com. That is PAINTTHEYELLOW.com. That is the place to go for this kind of racing. They have a traveling truck series, they have the Silver Speedway series, always loads of fun. And in this racing like this, it's just not just like nights like this. That is about every race they have. It's always and always fun.
Well, I'd like to say that you should compete for the National Spelling Bee next time it comes around. That's a good job there. And, yep, paintttheyellow.com for anyone that's interested. They put together a nice league there. I've never tried it. I might want to get to it myself after watching this kind of racing tonight. It was very good all around, a great race to watch, a lot of 3 and 4, even 4 wide action, and it was awesome to see.
Very much so, as we are on the white flag coming for the checkers. Here comes Paul Covington slowly behind the pace car. He is going to lead him across the line with Gary Horsley. I believe that's Gary Horsley. Yes, that is Gary Horsley in second position, number 54. Bern Lavelle bringing home third. It's going to be interesting with an interview with him. Richard Bros, who was a sponsor. Richie B, who owns the Italian backside pizza place. And that is Richie B's. David Pollock finishing 5th. I know we didn't get to hear from him earlier, which is unfortunate, as he finished third in the first heat, but able to bring it home 5th tonight, which is pretty good. Paul Doucette bringing home 6th. Mark Robertson, who was all alone earlier in the race, bringing home 7th. Chris Crosby and Tommy Stockus, who were kind of partnered up at the end, finishing 8th and 9th, which is unfortunate for them because they seem to be really fast. Just got in the wrong spot at the wrong time, track position was. And Ed Peoples, I didn't think he was even in that top pack. We didn't hear a whole lot about him. He's able to bring it home with a top 10.
Yeah, good night for all these guys, and after them it's going to be Kyle Devitt in 11th, Kyle Lewis in 12th, Matt R. Smith in 13th. We didn't talk about him in either heat race actually. Richard Bomer in 14th, Jeff Figlin in 15th after causing that final caution, and Chuck Harris, the last guy in the lead lap, in 16th. Those who were laps down or didn't finish were Doug Moore in 17th, Fred Mossett in 18th, Gary Lowe 19th, Donald Hagen 20th, Mickey Tuttle 21st, Jack Honeycutt 22nd, and Ian Erickson ends up last tonight in 23rd.
And how about this? Both victors are going to be doing donuts across the line here, the first and second place finishers, because they were partners tonight, and that's how you do it, because it's not just one car that won the race, it's both of them.
Yeah, you definitely can't win a super speedway race anymore without having a good partner, and these two showed that they can really work together as there was some contact on their donuts there.
Always fun and always fun to watch, but I believe we're going to get them just as soon as we can here.
Yeah, we're going to get them in the booth. We're also going to get Byrne back in the booth there. So, well, that concludes our racing action for the night. Now we're going to see how our interviews go. And well, once again, congratulations to Paul on taking home the victory. I know there's some prize money involved. Do you happen to know how much that is?
I do not know how much that is, unfortunately. I think I'll have to talk to Jack and see how much that really is, but I believe we have Bern Lavelle in the booth, and Steven, I'm going to let you take this one. Have a little bit of fun with it.
Alright, Bern, you came home third. You couldn't hold on to the,
No, actually, it was a strategy, because the way I saw it, if I'd let them get ahead of me, then they'd have to swap, I'd get it back. And the way I figured, okay, I said, you know what, I'll let them edge up. I'll let him get ahead of me. I didn't want to let Ricky and the other guy get by me, though. No more than 2 cars in front. And then I said, you know what? Dave will know when to push, and they'll heat up. They'll have to. And if you've noticed, the last 3 or 4 laps, it was a formula that seemed to work. But I didn't bank on a yellow, and I should have, because on lap 46, yeah, that gets tricky. The last 4 laps, man, you could almost expect a yellow. The guys are gun-ho. It's a chance you take. You know what? I won one. I'm happy. I'm happy to see Paul win, Gary Horsley. If you look at the top 10 guys, all great drivers, great league. Yeah, it was fun, you know, and I got to drink a couple of beers, shoot the shit, be on ETV.
Yep, yeah, we saw the strategy you guys had. It played out awfully well. I was kind of made a note of that. I'd rather have your strategy and their strategy of swapping, but it didn't play out with the cautions, but it was still a great run by you tonight.
Oh, yeah, it did well. I mean, I'm happy. Third is certainly, you know, when I first started the league back in December, I told guys the top 5 is where I aim to be. If you're running in the top 5, look in the real NASCAR championship. You know, you don't need to win every race. You race, you win, you get in the top 5 every race during the NASCAR season, you're in the money big time.
How about that? Drinking
Go ahead.
and driving, and he brings it home third.
Well, guys, tonight's been pretty light. Yeah, I got, what, maybe 15 MTs here beside me from about 4 or 5 nights of racing. I'll have about 3 to 4 a night. Not more, about 3 or 4. I mean, it sounds like I drink a lot. It sounds like I'm always running for a beer. I like my beer. I do drink my beer, but I zip on them. And, you know, it's just up here in Canada, I mean, it gets cold. What are you going to do? You're going to sit back, do a bit of racing, have a beer.
Hey, I'm just curious. Do you have a mini fridge next to your chair, or do you just have to have your wife go get them for you?
Sorry, what was that, Dakota?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So I'll tell the guys. I just wanted to say one thing because I'm on ETV. Paint the Yellow, great place, great people to run with. You know that it's going to start to get cold now, so it won't be long that we're going to see a big influx. The racing should be really good come November, December, January. You're going to see some primo racing here. I can feel it.
Yeah, but the question I had was, do you keep it in the mini fridge, or do you have your wife go get it for you during the races?
No, I stock up. I got a mini fridge about 5 foot from me, and I stock up from the big fridge in the garage. So I got a big fridge in the garage that holds about 3 or 4 tube for us at all given times, and then I have another mini fridge down here that I usually cook 3 or 4, you know, just in case of emergencies.
Well, that's good to hear, and once again, congratulations on your run tonight. That's Burn Lavelle, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, and again, thanks to Dave Pollack and the rest of the boys on Channel 8. Wonderful bunch of racers. Great entertainment, lots of fun.
Well, there you have it from Burn Lavelle, who brought it home in third position, but who finished second? None other than Gary Horsley. Gary, how'd you do it tonight?
I had a great help from Paul Covington. We worked good together. Had to come from the back to the front in the second race, and in that race we had some great racing side by side, and everybody kept it clean till that little caution at the end, but it helped us stay up front. We were lucky to be up front right then, but we had some good side by side close racing, great drivers, and I'm proud to be a part of Paint the Yellow. And I appreciate the Omega Construction and Richie B sponsoring this race. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you had some great sponsors here tonight, and we mentioned you brought home second, and I know you were pushing Paul there. Were you going to try to go for the win if this thing stayed green?
We've worked together all year. If it was just me and him out there, and there was no way another person would have been able to pass us, I would have tried to go around him. But otherwise, I was happy to push him to the win.
Yeah, we noticed you guys chose the swapping strategy over just laying back and pushing, and that worked out for you this time with the way the cautions fell. But how often, next time we had to swap, when was that going to be?
I was kind of riding and pushing and riding. It just depended on the circumstances. We were doing swapping. Paul did some great switching there so that we didn't lose positions and stayed up front and could push back into the lead. So we were working good. We was trying to do as much pushing as possible and not riding. I think that's what got us to the front at the end.
Yeah, well, good job to you bringing home second. Great run, and we're going to send it down to Dakota. I believe he's caught up with our race winner.
Yes, sir. We have the winner, Paul Covington, man, and you're a sponsor for tonight with Omega Construction.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Just want to really say thank you to Jack Honeycutt and James Howard. They've done a great job with Paint the Yellow, and winning this race is quite exciting. I couldn't have done it without Gary Horsley, and of course we had Richard Brose back there occasionally, but Gary and I worked together tonight good, and it was a good, clean race. The clean racing is what made it so much fun.
And Paul, we stressed how much fun this is and how this is all about every week. Can you maybe give a statement about that? How fun is it every night?
Well, I can handle it about 3 or 4 nights a week, but this particular type of racing is my stress relief, and like I say, with people like Gary Horsley and Richard and these good clean racers back there, and Byrne did a great job. It was intense there for a while, but still very, very relaxing too.
Did you and Gary Horsley have a plan to stick together all race before you even got into the race? Because I mean, it seems like every time we looked at you, you two were right there together.
Well, we had a sort of a semi-plan. It's according to how we qualified. It just worked out good on the pit stop on the in the first heat race, and then from there it just seemed like that everything worked perfect for us. So yeah, we did have a plan.
And you want to talk to us a little bit about your sponsor, your part of the sponsorship in tonight's event with Omega Construction?
Well, Omega Construction is a company that I started in 1975, so now you guys know how old I am. But Omega's proud to be able to help with Paint the Yellow when we have a race of this type. But Omega Construction itself is a full-service construction company, and anyone that'd like to take a look at us, just go to omegaconstruction.com and you can get an idea of what we're all about.
Yeah, I've counted here. 37 years that this business has been open. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well,
37 years.
That's a lot of years. But any more shout-outs you want to throw out there?
No, again, I just want to thank Jack and James. They've really done a good job with Paint the Yellow. Jack has really totally been dedicated to it and sacrificed a lot of his time. And then with all the Paint the Yellow guys, I can't say enough about all of them. They're good guys. Clean racing is what it's all about. Having fun. And of course tempers flare sometimes, but we try to avoid that. But it's all about fun.
Well, I just want to throw out there a little fact there. Me and Steve was just kind of passing notes back and forth, and your business has been open almost as long as our ages combined there. So that's quite a long time. But thank you again, Paul, for stopping by. Nice job on the track tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in a future All-Star race.
Well, thank you so much, Dakota.
Well, there you have it for the Paint the Yellow All-Star race. It was a fun race all night, fun to watch, and definitely fun to call. Steven, what are your final thoughts after tonight?
Well, it was nice to see a Super Speedway race going again. I know iRacing's heading into their Super Speedway race this week with the official series, I know. But it's really fun to watch these guys go at it in the truck. We don't need to see the truck often on ETV, and they put on a great show for the fans at home, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed it.
Speaking of the Super Speedways this week in the official series, let's go Friday night. Let's go wreck some more, probably, because that's kind of what happens as we saw at Dover. I don't know if the Super Speedway is going to go very well with them as well as it does with Paint the Yellow. Again, they're awesome at this. But this racing was great. 3 wide, 4 wide. I don't even know. They probably could have went 5 wide. We weren't paying attention. But very interesting and fun to call. And I look forward to coming back and doing another one of these very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back here and do another one of these next time around. It was awfully fun. And, well, I guess that's about it from tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steven, I want to thank you again for joining me tonight and also doing the Friday night stuff. If you want to tune into him, actually, he will not be here this Friday night. He'll be on the track at Daytona, actually, it'll be Daytona International Speedway. So look for Steven on the track. Maybe you want to rip him on this Friday night in the Friday night showdown. But that's all we have for the Paint the Yellow All-Star race. An exciting race tonight. I don't know that John, I believe he just snuck in here. I don't know if he has any final thoughts, but that's all for me, John.
Yeah, guys, I always look forward to coming to Paint Yellow. It's a great group of guys over here, and it's another spectacular race.
Yeah, definitely a exciting race tonight, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed it personally watching these guys. It was great to be up here in the booth of Dakota. Yeah, anyone's looking for me next Friday night, I'll be in a pink, blue, and white Michael Fisher Designs. Not sure what number we'll be yet. It depends on the rating system, but that's all from us tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you next time here on ETV.